Hello Team FD and welcome back to Armchair Fans. This episode is brought to you by our friends over at Now TV, and if you want to watch the big game along with us, which is Manchester City versus Arsenal, then click in the description below for your Now TV Sky Sports Day Pass. Just £5.99, boys, gets you access to a litany of Premier League games, including tomorrow's big one with Liverpool and West Ham. But back to the game in hand, and joining me for the ride, it's Sam Obaseki on the end, it's Michael McCubbin, and it's Doogie Critchley. Also joining us is Adam Templeman in Social Corner. He'll be fielding your questions, so get at us. And like I said, if you want to watch the game with us, click the description, the link in the description below even. Just rush down a bit of food. I need to regain my composure. Lads, let's go through some score predictions, starting with you on the end, Obaseki, because mixed emotions about this one. Yeah. Chelsea finally displaying a bit of good form yesterday. Obviously, you want to kind of fend off fourth place, competitors. Yeah. How do you see this one, unravelling?
Now that I've seen the lineups, I think City are going to win like 3-1, I'd say. I think it's going to be a back and forth game, but City are just too strong. Arsenal don't have like the squad in depth. Like they've got who they got started? Guendouzi, Torreira, and Iwobi. Ozil not starting.
Yeah. Arsenal's defence looking pretty suspect, isn't it? And so is their form away from home. The only side in the top flight not to keep a clean sheet so far, gentlemen. Manchester City have beaten 3 times on the bounce at the Etihad. So this is for 4 in a row, which I believe is a record that stretches back to the 80s. And Manchester City welcoming back the likes of De Bruyne in the lineup, and of course Sergio Aguero spearheading that attack, and he loves playing against Arsenal, doesn't he, Duke?
He certainly does. Yeah, he's got a fantastic record in this game. I mean, which game doesn't he, to be honest? He scored 7 goals in 11 games for City against Arsenal, and he'll be licking his lips at the prospect of coming up against this Arsenal defence, which have been pretty shambolic at times. Although I have been impressed with Arsenal more so in the big games this year. I think Emery set up his team particularly well at home. I mean, that fantastic game against Spurs, obviously, but this is a proper test. It's coming up against the champions, and it's a good time to play them actually. With that result in midweek against Newcastle, actually, where they were actually really poor, I thought, pretty sloppy in possession, and not their usual slick self. So we'll, fingers crossed, it's going to be a real good game. City will be very keen to bounce back in this one.
Score prediction from you then, big man?
I reckon. I'm going to go a lot of goals, actually. I'm going to go 4-1 City.
Ooh!
Absolutely humdinger.
We've got 3-1, we've got 4-1. What are you going to hit us?
I do think City are going to score 4 today as well.
Really?
I think it's going to be 4.
The Arsenal fan over there, not best.
It's going to be, Temps will be crying. That's one thing that's guaranteed. I'm actually going to go for a mix of the 2 results we've seen. I think 4-2. So it's going to be perhaps an all-time Premier League classic.
Oh yeah, and you're here for it,
exactly.
Like we said. If you want to watch the game, a Now TV month pass gets you access to the month's worth of Premier League football, including tomorrow's tie, which could be decisive if this doesn't go Manchester City's way. Massive. Of course, Liverpool on 61 points, Manchester City currently on 56. If they don't win this today, 3rd behind Spurs, and given their struggles recently, that is pretty surprising, isn't it? But Manchester City have lost 4 in their last 9. Took them 70-odd games to do that beforehand. I think maybe even more.
Yeah.
This is a vulnerable Manchester City, but Fernandinho is back. Of course, they have lost 2 Premier League games without him. I can see Manchester City taking command of this pretty quickly as well, gentlemen. I'm going to go for 3-1. So we want your score predictions as well. If you call it right, then Temps will read them out, of course. But over to Adam Templeman for our first questions from you guys in Social Corner. Adam, we want a score prediction from you as well, mate.
I'm going to say 2-2 draw. That's not biased, is it? Our first question is from Robert, who says, considering Arsenal have had no transfer budget, would you say that it's been a successful window or an unsuccessful window?
Who wants to take this one, lads?
I don't mind starting. I think it's been slightly disappointing, really. I mean, everyone can see their issues in defence, and yet they haven't arrested that one bit. They're obviously linked with a lot of wingers as well, which I think they were much needed, in Carrasco and Perisic in particular. Didn't get either over the line and ended up with the loan move of Denis Suarez, which, while I think he's a good player, Admittedly, I haven't seen him that much in recent time because he hasn't played that much. I don't think he was the player that they really need. But to be fair, a lot of Premier League clubs had a pretty disappointing windows. But they've really missed an opportunity, I think, to, if they'd made a really marquee signing of a defender, they could have definitely cemented that, make them heavy favourites for 4th place. So yeah, I'd say it's slightly disappointing. What do you guys think?
I think it doesn't. Sorry, I think it doesn't make sense because obviously they've got Holden out, they've got Bellerin out, Liechtenstein's older.
Yeah.
So like everyone can see that they need a centre back or another full back, and then they go like they're mainly going for wingers. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't know why Emery is pinpointing. Obviously they need wingers because they've got Mkhitaryan playing out wide, they've got Iwobi playing out wide, and they're naturally number 10s. But surely if your back 4 is more solid, then the goals will come.
Yeah,
they've got Aubameyang, they've got Lacazette. So I don't know. I don't understand his thinking behind it.
Yeah, I don't know where their money is as well. Why can they only make loan signings? They moved to the Emirates over 10 years ago. Where is all the cash? I know they went quite big, obviously, last January, bringing in Aubameyang. And in the summer, they made quite a few moves. I think Leno was 20 million, Torreira 25 odd. But you'd think they'd have a bit more.
Yeah, they've been a bit of a mess behind the scenes, though, haven't they? Sven Mislintat leaving, who was supposed to be a guy, who ushered in a new transfer policy, put together a coherent plan, much like Liverpool over the last 3 or 4 years. They've bought in Guendouzi for 7 million, which was a great transfer. But like you said, Sam, the rest have kind of been stopgaps, and stopgaps that are already not good enough or need replacing. So Socrates has been okay. I think Arsenal fans haven't been any more so won over by Mustafi this season, so it looks like he might need replacing in the long term if they want to put together an elite defence. I mean, I don't mind him, but Manchester City, conversely, pretty set squad, welcoming back some big names. Benjamin Mendy, they're monitoring his situation at the moment, aren't they? Still got a swollen knee.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's swelled up,
after he came out. But you expecting De Bruyne to have a big impact in this game, lads? Because he's only clocked up about 600 minutes so far this season. A couple of starts in the League Cup where he's looked pretty commanding. But this could be the game he comes back and ruins Arsenal.
Yeah, you hope so. That has been one of the disappointments of the season, is that we haven't seen De Bruyne. And when we have seen him, he's either just been back from injury or about to be out again. And he just hasn't. Whenever I've seen him, at least, I mean, to be fair, I didn't really watch much of the League Cup matches against Burton, he doesn't seem quite as up to it as he was. Obviously, it's just understandable. It's just a shame to see someone who just can control games so much last season, not be on form. But that, considering that he has been out for so long, it is pretty amazing actually that City, are actually still.
It's because of Silva. It's Bernardo Silva.
Yeah, Bernardo Silva has been good, but I don't know, that midfield 3 of Fernandinho, De Bruyne, and David Silva is just unbelievable.
Well, we're getting the lineup now. So apparently it's a 4-3-3 with De Bruyne, Gundogan, and Silva in midfield. And look at that front 3: Sterling, Aguero, Silva, Fernandinho. I imagine the 2 centre halves might split, and he might just find himself in the middle. But the fact that they're playing kind of makeshift sort of back 3 would suggest that they're pretty confident in this game, and why not? Because that not the greatest looking defence, is it? Laurent Koscielny, who's kind of limped off on more than a few occasions this season for Arsenal. Mustafi and Monreal, flanked by Lichtsteiner and was Kolasinac in the lineup there?
Kolasinac was on the left, exactly.
So just missed that. But going back to transfer policy to answer the question, I mean, Manchester City will also be a little bit annoyed they haven't found a replacement for Fernandinho, and we spoke about it on today's Sunday Vibes, his importance to this side, Doogie. And I mean, Guardiola's been quite vocal about how disappointed he's been in the last couple of transfer windows about not landing his primary target.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he called out the club. I think he used the word, we need to be more ruthless, be more decisive. When I identify these targets, we expect to get them through the door. And a club of City's stature can't continually miss out on their top targets if they want to not just win the Premier League, but they should be aiming for the Champions League in the next couple of years. And Fernandinho, I think he's 34 in August. So yeah, they definitely need to get a player in for his position next year, because I think Gundogan, although I like Gundogan, I don't think he offers enough defensively. And then if you play someone like Stones or Delph there, they don't offer enough going forward. So it's a bit tricky. And we saw his importance to the side in those Palace and Leicester defeats. I think he missed both of those games. And without him in the side, without the control he offers, they're a completely different proposition. So yeah, it will be vital to get that man through the door this summer, I would have thought.
What do you boys think to this current Manchester City squad? Have they got enough to chase down Liverpool for this league title? Starting with you, McCubs, or are you favouring Jurgen Klopp's Reds? I mean, obviously the points would suggest.
I've been. I don't know. I'm still kind of back in City. I tend to be a bit conservative when it comes to these things, and go.
We've been here before in recent times.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, I don't know. It's interesting actually, like looking back to the last great title race, which was between Liverpool and City, and Liverpool really were underdogs then, weren't they? The change in those 5 years is pretty staggering. But I still do fancy City. I don't know. There's Liverpool have been a little bit fortunate in a couple of games. Obviously, that mistake from Speroni in the Palace game, the mistake from Pickford in the Everton game. If Liverpool do go on and win the title, those will be big flashpoints.
Defining moments.
And Amara's miss as well.
Yeah, and Mahrez miss. Yeah, I forget about that. So in that sense, it kind of feels like Liverpool are maybe getting the right bit of luck that you need to win a title race like this. But I don't know. I just think on the balance, City have been a little bit better.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just think I don't know. They've just got more players who've done it before, which sometimes that doesn't count for that much. Yeah. But like I don't know. Yeah, I think they'll do it basically.
Yeah, I mean, I said as much at the start of this start of this run-in, let's say, that Manchester City, it's still not beyond them. Pep Guardiola builds his teams for the course of a season, but Jurgen Klopp this time round, the only change is that he's got the ability to chop and change like never before, really. Like Fabinho's looked like a brilliant signing. Shaqiri's that can play in the midfield three or the front three. Like, these are things that matter. These are massive factors, aren't they? They will become the end of the season. But what are you saying, Sam? Who do you fancy? City, Liverpool?
It's a tough one, man, because I think you see the way City were missing Fernandinho. I think if Liverpool were to have like Van Dijk get injured, I think they'll be in serious trouble. Like, even with their fullbacks, the injuries that they've had at fullback, and the fact that Fabinho's had to cover in at fullback.
They've managed that situation well,
they've managed it.
Arnold, Gomez, but
they've managed it, but I still think that that's an area that they should have strengthened this January. Like, they should have got another centre back to say, okay, cool, if Van Dijk gets injured, then we can have some cover. Because right now they've got Lovren, Matip and Gomez. Gomez is out injured, so that means Matip and Lovren, and that is a completely different defence without Van Dijk. Do you get what I'm saying? So I don't know, but I want City to win it just because of the hype around the Liverpool fans. I don't hear it.
I find it so funny because I was actually with a couple of Liverpool supporting mates yesterday. We were talking about how the last title race between these two, people really were back in Liverpool. Maybe it was because they were a bit like underdogs as well, but like it really feels like no one wants Liverpool to win it this time, like in a big way, in a way that I've not seen before. It's so funny.
The Twitter sphere, public opinion is definitely against it.
I think that is it.
I think this is the strongest they've been in a while, and they I think with their run, they kind of deserve it. Like City when Fernandinho has been out, like they've actually lost Van Dijk, like you said earlier. When Liverpool have been winning these like scrappy 1-0 wins, that is like the signs of a championship team. So it kind of looks like they're going to do it. I'm hoping they don't, but I don't know.
It is weird that everyone's begrudging them this victory, like you said. I'd quite like to see Liverpool win the league. I think maybe that run to the Champions League final, some of the fallout on Twitter, about maybe Mo Salah's shoulder, about carrying
and he's diving as well,
having concussion. I think that did kind of change the neutrals' opinion on them. They've become a little bit more insular, but I think that's a good sign for a club like Liverpool when you have that siege mentality, because everyone the neutral used to hate Manchester United, and it just used to galvanise the players, galvanise the fans, and maybe that will be a contributing factor. The fact that no one wants them to win it, maybe that will give the players that little bit more motivation. But let's have another question. Guys, get your questions in the comments below. Adam Templeman was siphoned through them. He'll read them out. And if you're joining us for the game and are subscribed, hit that subscribe button. And if you're undecided as to whether to join us for the game or not yet, then click in the description below, because our mates over at Now TV have got a month pass for you, a Sky Sports month pass. It gets you access to 5 different Sky Sports channels, all for £5.99, and that includes tomorrow's big game as well, Liverpool West Ham. So, scramble around for a stream. Come and join us. The nice, clear picture. Over to Temps.
Hey, yeah.
We've
got a lot of score predictions in the comments. Nobody has predicted Arsenal to win, which is very, very disappointing. There's a few draws though, so a few people have agreed 2-2.
Okay.
Mo has gone 5-1.
Equally Mo.
Oh, wow.
Mo, wow.
To Man City, that is, by the way. The next question is from Stephen, though. It says, after Spurs' win yesterday, are they now serious title contenders, or should they be taken seriously in the title race?
Go on, Duke. I've got a mouthful of chicken.
I think they've crept up on it, definitely. Yeah. I wouldn't say they've got enough to win the title, but that's just sort of preconceptions that I have about the strength of the depth of their squad, I should say, rather. But it was, they got the job done yesterday. I don't think they played particularly well. I was only watching the highlights because I was very much in rugby mood yesterday, but I only watched the highlights today.
How dare you mention rugby on this stream?
I know, throw me out. But yeah, Lucas Moura starting up front and sort of Llorente, and they were crossing balls into him, and I was just like, why are you doing that for Lucas Moura? And not, starting Llorente. Great tactics for him, but didn't work so well. But then, the man of the moment, Son Heung-min,
quality,
absolute hero once again, pops up and gets the win. To be fair, it was against a pretty stubborn Newcastle side who've been really good defensively. Well, they've always been really good defensively under Rafa, but particularly recently. I would say they don't have enough, but I mean, fair play to Pochettino for dealing with what he has this window without this season, without signing any players in the summer or January. I think that's the first time in something like 20 years that a club has done that. Wow. And yeah, absolutely balmy to go 12 months without a deal by the time this summer goes. And obviously with the stadium issues as well, you've got to kind of applaud Spurs' consistency, and they do have a very solid team, but I wouldn't say they're title contenders in my book.
Yeah, crazy with that. Some of the starting lineups we've seen from Tottenham this season to be 7 points clear of Chelsea at this point.
Chill, man.
Well, don't you worry, we'll get to Chelsea. Although good win against Huddersfield.
Great win.
Great second goal for Higuain. So he's off to a good start after a couple of not sloppy performances, but sort of underwhelming performances against Sheffield Wednesday and
Bournemouth.
And we won't mention that game against Bournemouth. Sam just breaks down every time. But going back to Tottenham, where do we think they're going to finish the season? A bit like Doogie McCubbin. Do you think they're going to peter out given their lack of depth, or do you think second is not second? Can they challenge City for second?
I mean, they can. I mean, it will require City to really mess up.
You said it yourself. City are a bit lucky at the moment. Yeah. Points-wise, expected points-wise.
Yeah, I mean, you do have to give Liverpool a lot of credit for being top of the league when this City team was still as good as they are. But I think Spurs will finish third comfortably. I think that fourth place is going to be toing and froing between Chelsea United and Arsenal. All of those teams have the ability to drop points every week. But I think Spurs are just that bit more consistent. But I can't see second, unfortunately, for them. Which is it's a shame. But like we were saying, it's pretty amazing what Pochettino's been able to do. Like, they haven't signed a central midfielder since 2016. Moussa Sissoko was their last CM.
Yeah. They signed. Doing what they're doing with Winks and Sissoko.
I know money is a bit of an issue at the moment with the spend on the stadium. But if you sell Moussa Dembele, you have to bring in someone else. Yeah. That was my biggest sort of pondering of the transfer window, but they've got a soldier on, like you said, for another half a season with Harry Winks, with Moussa Sissoko converting to like a controlling, CDM, or someone who's really good at the transition. But
that's played well.
And he's been really tactically versatile, hasn't he? And that's what we've maybe not given him credit for. Sam, painful that you might lose out, on third place to this Spurs side. Good opportunity. Missed.
I think Poch has got he's got a formula to motivate these players to just be in I don't know how to explain it, like just being the best that they can be type of thing. Like not challenging for the title, just like staying close to City, staying close to Liverpool. I feel like that's where they gain their like success.
You'd say him at the top 4 managers has definitely improved his playing personnel more so than the others.
Yeah.
Like he gets more out of them,
And he's not afraid to like switch up his formations, or like even a personnel like Sissoko's played out wide, he's played CDM, all of their players are just willing to give 100% for Poch, Spurs all the time. And that's one thing that Chelsea are struggling with, like with like the last few years. I think it's easier to like scapegoat like Hazard or the manager. So all of these players just hide behind all of these excuses when Spurs have not signed anyone for the last 2 transfer windows. So really and truly, we don't have an excuse to not be closer to them.
I do like that culture at Chelsea is fascinating, where one thing goes wrong, it's like the need to find one component.
It's so annoying.
Instead of like looking at the bigger picture. It's more often than not the manager, or then it's some sort of like high profile player that has too much influence in the dressing room. But let's see if they can avoid pressing the self-destruct button this season. I mean,
hopefully.
After that Huddersfield victory,
it was a good win.
Good factors back. But after that Bournemouth loss.
That was a shock.
Goal difference is back to normal though. So that's one. So that's calm. But City next week, innit? So hopefully
you've got City next week. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Hopefully Arsenal take everything out of City, and then next week they've got a game midweek as well. So hopefully their team is just like coming into that game. Let's go for the draw.
All right. I'm sure let's go and get another question from Social Corner before we
teams onto the pitch.
Go over to the game.
Let's do it. Killjoy wants to talk about Chelsea. I want to know why the Chelsea fans turned against Sarri so quickly after a couple of bad results.
That's
obviously I'm gonna
diplomatic way of saying why you lot such a bunch of snakes.
I haven't turned against him. I think Sarri's obviously he's not completely faultless, but at the same time he's not the reason of our form, because he's said from the beginning, like, this is the way I play. This is the way I want these players to play, and that's it. We have a good run of games at the beginning of the season. We have a few games, like in the last 3 games, I think we've lost our last three away games, and we haven't scored as well. Obviously, that looks bad, but at the same time, it's not his formula. I do think he should put in Hudson-Odoi, play him a bit more, but at the same time, he wants him to defend more. He wants him to understand and game more. He's still young. Like there's certain things where you can say, okay, cool. It's easier to blame the manager than the players because there's so many of them. But for a game like against Bournemouth, where you can see individual errors, the team you can see the second half they just weren't up for it. How can you blame Sarri? He didn't tell them to that.
Multiple times he's come out and he said he's not able to motivate players. Again highlighting attitude over ability, which is probably more often than not dig at Eden Hazard. But
also that as well. Sorry, I think that the way the media twist it as well, when he says something like, okay, Hazard's not a leader, I don't think he meant it directly as in he's not a leader. He's just not we're used to John Terry, Didier Drogba, these guys. You can tell that in the changing room they will get everyone up for it on the pitch. They'll get everyone up for it. Hazard's a bit quiet, and that's fine. That's the type of player he is. If you ask him about Hazard, he's obviously going to say he's not a leader like that, but doesn't mean that he doesn't contribute to the team atmosphere or stuff like that. But
it kind of does contradict the fact that he was captain for Belgium at the World Cup as captain Chelsea on occasions. It is. I read that as kind of, come on, like, we need you and you're not going the extra mile for the team.
It's almost a bit too honest, isn't he, Sarri? I think.
I think he needs to stop that.
I think it's a bit nice. That's the thing.
He needs to stop that.
Bit of currency.
It's like you forget this is his first job. This is his first job outside of Italy, isn't it? And even then, he's not actually been managing at top level for that long. And I think maybe there's just a bit of naivety in the way that he's approached the media. But I think he's.
At Napoli, widely sort of renowned for despising, the media. The media would not give them access. The players barely got, the chance to speak in public on behalf of the club.
Really?
And whatnot.
I didn't know that.
Apparently, De Laurentiis just has been on record as to say that the camp is much more open now. Ancelotti's there, but he's not a manager. Going back to what McCubbin was saying, that kind of wants to deal with the press, or he's not a charmer like Jurgen Klopp, and therefore maybe doesn't get the same bandwidth as him. As soon as he says something, it's like, oh well.
He's too honest, man.
But he's got the same sort of points haul, hasn't he?
I've just seen, Fernandinho seems to be lining up as a centre-back with Laporte on the left. So, juicy prospect for Aubameyang and Lacazette coming up against Fernandinho, slightly out of position.
Attempts is true.
Temps is excited by that.
Take anything.
Right, before the game kicks off then, if you want to join us for the big one, then get on the link in the description below. £5.99 for a Now TV Sky Sports month pass, which of course gets you access to Monday's big game at the London Stadium, like we've said countless times on this stream, but seminal scenes here quite possibly. So you're going to want to tune in with us. Stick around for the ride, baby. Over to Temps.
Yeah, we just kicked off, by the way. Zach Jalab is in the comments.
Hey, Jalabator.
He hasn't really asked a question, so I've just said.
He's there.
Wanted a shout out.
Yeah, cheers, Jack.
Bit anticlimactic that.
J11S says Crystal Palace are a top 10 club. Thoughts? Question mark.
Love that.
They could be at the end of the season, I guess.
The table doesn't lie. I don't know what he's really suggesting. Clearly not. And never have been. I can't really remember the last time Palace finished in the top 10.
Where are they at the moment?
I don't think they ever have.
Love that. City and Arsenal kicking off. Just on that moment, we're talking about Palace being a top 10 club.
Right, here we go.
I like Crystal Palace, and fair play to them for getting that result yesterday. But their home form this year has been really disappointing, and it'll be interesting to see where the Bachelor.
I know.
Aguero! 8 and 12.
52
I
seconds,
merit
bro.
report
52 seconds.
the makeshift left back flying
What a
down
guy.
the left hand side.
yeah,
there.
Captain
of
Putting the
Fantasy
cross into
Award.
Sergio.
Yes.
Cheers from
I
Temps.
needed that.
Oh, what a goal!
That is literally
That is such a bad
30
start
seconds
for
ago.
Arsenal.
Thames is fist pumping about I merited a port playing left back, and he's just clocked an assist
Fantastic ball.
in 52
Oh, that's
seconds.
so good.
Oh, Guendouzi.
That's quite composed from Guendouzi. This is where it needs to be played.
Iwobi.
Iwobi!
Iwobi.
Not a ball!
Iwobi's dawdling with it at the edge of the
If
box.
Ozil started, he wouldn't have done
Who
that.
gets in there? Laporte. Yeah, just tackles. Perfect.
Mad.
Aguero diving header near
Simple.
post. Lovely.
And his record goes on and on, doesn't it, Sergio? That is now 8 in 12, I believe.
Leonard nearly got it.
Save it as well. That would have been a
54
great save from
seconds.
them.
That is
That
jokes.
is absolutely mental.
Nice.
Arsenal still no clean
I thought
sheets
he'd
away from home.
glanced that, to the right hand side, but he's gone right in the near post. And Bernardo nearly got there, but Pep Guardiola extremely happy.
He doesn't look anywhere near
Justice.
wrapped up enough, though, Pep.
He's going to get the,
He
he's gonna
needs-
get the
he
snivels.
needs- yeah,
You worried about
definitely.
his health?
I'm a little bit, yeah.
Alright, so obviously that was it. Oh, I don't want to scapegoat him because it's deep, yeah. But Iwobi's mistake, yeah. I know a lot
Yeah.
of fans are onto him because Ozil's not starting. He seems to be the one that Emery is in favour of. Do you think that he should be starting over?
That's a good question.
Good question. We'll throw that out to our fans as well. Do you think Iwobi should be starting this game? Let us know in the comments below. But I actually think Iwobi maybe doesn't get the credit for the actual contribution he makes on the field more often than not. His passing into the final third is very good. His all-round goal contributions in the minutes he's given is very impressive for a guy his age. It stands up against most youngsters in the Premier League. Oh my goodness!
It's a pen.
Not a pen.
Sergio,
Not a
describe what just
Not
happened.
a pen.
Aguero makes a run in behind, and it looks like Mustafi gets a hold of him, but Martin Atkinson giving nothing there. Oh,
That
it would
is
have
100%
been
a pen.
really soft. I think that's soft.
I think it's relatively soft.
Okay, yeah, it was a bit.
It will
soft.
bring you into the replays today.
Yeah, okay.
Great ball from De Bruyne, though.
Provide that.
Oh, actually,
provide
hang
that
on.
colour. Go on.
Quite difficult to tell, really. We really need a slow-mo on that. But yeah, anyway, hasn't been given. Still 1-0 Man City. Looking very confident at the start of the game. Arsenal haven't really got on the ball. 3 minutes and 11 seconds in. Long way to go.
Yeah, Manchester City already controlling this game on. They already got Arsenal on the back foot. Let's go over to Manu, who would no doubt be delighted about that. Adam Templeman for the next question.
Do you know what I'm most annoyed about is when they scored, I looked at Kieran because he's a City fan and his face didn't even change.
He's just expecting it.
Just like that. Anyway, next question is from Mark, who wants to talk about Wolves. And he
Ooh.
says, are Wolves going to be a one-season wonder, or do you think they are now going to be a permanent Premier League
Ooh,
club?
you want to take that down this end
Are
of
they
the
here to
sofa?
stay?
Wolves,
I don't
lads?
think they're a
I like
one-season
Wolves.
wonder.
I like
I think
Wolves a lot.
if the investment stays, then they'll probably be all right.
It looks like it's going to as well.
Yeah, like they've got a good manager. Like, obviously George Mendes seems to be pretty loyal to the club. Obviously, him and Nuno Espirito Santo have a lot of history, don't they?
What a ball.
So good, man.
De Bruyne looks really hot. Not in that way. He's a good player. He's not,
It's only 4 minutes in, mate.
I agree, hot on both counts.
We're going to turn around and the cover's going to be topless.
Do you know what? You wouldn't notice though, given how hairy you chaps are. You know what? That ball from Laporte got me hot under the collar of the Cubs. That switch to the right-hand side, Manchester City just pinging it around at
dominating
will now.
already.
But I agree. Wolves. I mean, he's still got the best to come from Dendoncker. They look like they're making that Raul Jimenez transfer permanent. Go on, swinging in from Gundogan. They've made.
Goldstone.
Oh my gosh!
That's a great save from
trying to
Leno.
score bangers.
I don't really want to talk about Wolves because Manchester City is just a relentless wave of attack after attack.
It's going to be 5-1.
That's 4-1 looking good.
This looks like it might be a mauling. Raheem Sterling.
Good strike.
Savable, actually.
Yeah, very savable.
It's a nice height for Leno.
I think the old school pundits would say one for the cameras. I think Leno really goes for that when he doesn't necessarily need to.
Oh, confident punch clear. Unai Emery looking a little bit pale. Wolves. Anyone got anything to add on Wolves before we move on? Because I just think
I've really enjoyed watching Wolves.
If they keep their players like Neves, Moutinho.
Neves has signed a new contract. Moutinho, I think 3-year deal when he signed on for the club, or 2 years with an extension option for a further year. So
yeah, they're set. I think they're set for a good few years.
I like their system as well. It's really interesting how they managed to create space in wide areas using their fullbacks, Johnny and Doherty, and then Jota. And
just signed Johnny on a permanent as well.
Yeah. Really nice.
And I thought that Atletico Madrid might keep him because Juan Fran's aging out. I mean, they've sold Schalke to Inter Milan, and he's looked brilliant this season. Johnny, so.
Definitely. And Connor Cody, I think, is really underrated at the back as well. Seems to hold it all together really well. He must be close to an England call-up now. He's definitely gone above someone like Michael Keane in the pecking order, in my opinion. Anyway.
Yeah,
100. All pretty positive for Wolves. If the money stays there, the only way is up.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. The next question.
Yes, the next question is from Max Boy, who says, "Why do you think Manchester City haven't had the success in Europe that they've had in the Premier League?"
Hello. Oh my goodness, that was.
They're just trying to score bangers.
It's a good question. Man City tend to. There's a bit of antipathy. What's the word? Antipathy towards the Champions League from the City fans. I don't know whether that's got anything to do with it. And I think in recent years they have prioritised the Premier League, definitely. But they've what have they got? One semi-final appearance in their history.
Was it when they went on away to Shakhtar? Was it? I mean that is a long trip because at the time they weren't even playing in Shakhtar because of the Russian separatists. But Pep was saying like City fans, I think there's only like 200 or 300 travelled or something. And he was like, there is actually the attitude amongst the fans that we're just never going to win the Champions League.
They don't seem that confident as a club.
He wants them to be more demanding on the players, doesn't he? But
definitely.
What did he get to? What's his best return? Quarter-final, was it?
Against Monaco? What was last year? Was last 16 against Liverpool? Was that...
no, that was
last 16?
That was quarter-final.
Those were just two epic ties, though. That could have... Liverpool played really well, particularly at the Etihad. I seem to remember, but they were great ties.
Yeah, they were fantastic.
Could have definitely gone either way. Do you guys think they've got a shout this year in the Champions League?
Yeah, for sure. I still think they're kind of in some ways the strongest team in Europe. But yeah, I think there's always been a little bit of a kind of slightly anti-UEFA and anti-Champions League feeling at Man City. It just hasn't worked out. They often get quite unlucky with the draws. I think they're you wouldn't call it coefficient, would you? But I think they're kind of tend to be ranked a bit higher now when going into the draws. But there was that 3-4 year period where they would always get a Bayern in the groups, or like Shakhtar, they often play in Shakhtar.
Seems to remember a few times against Barca as well, maybe.
I think this year will be interesting though, because obviously last year you could say that their team was one of the strongest in Europe, but let's say they're not going to lose this game, but let's say they lose a few more games this season, will they prioritise the Champions League? And I think if they do that, then I think that's when they will be in with more of a shout to winning it. Because when was the last time a team's won the Premier League and the Champions League?
United
2008, yeah.
So that was a long time ago.
It's tough, but I don't think...
Hello.
Oh my God.
It's so easy.
We have ourselves
Offside. Oh, De Bruyne curling in a delicious ball.
Laporte is on though. He's feeling it today.
So poor from Arsenal out there.
No, it was a great offside trap.
He's on though. He's on.
He is. It's
I think
so
it's Fernandinho that was in front of him.
I thought Torreira was playing him on there.
I think he's narrowly off there.
I think he's just off.
But yes, Aymeric Laporte having a header chalked off by a mere matter of inches. What a ball in that was from De Bruyne.
He started well, Liverpool.
If a replay comes on, Diggy will be taking us through it with those dulcet tones.
I'll try.
But Arsenal on a rare attack here, rare foray forward.
Good bang, yeah.
Hello.
Loose
ball.
Fantastic. That looks like a hard challenge.
Walker.
Fantastic.
You know, Walker
Sliding
can't
out.
make one more mistake this year, you know. After that tweet, he genuinely can't make another mistake.
It's very
I mean,
true.
he was dropped when he gave away a penalty, so I can only imagine what Pep was thinking about doing with him after that tweet. But,
That was so stupid, though.
really tempting fate, yeah. What has he done?
Absolutely mental.
But he's taken it down now, and everyone's moved on, haven't they? So, Tem, should we have a couple of questions while Arsenal are, standing over this corner?
Yes, we can.
Torreira on the corner.
Torreira on the
Next
mullet.
question is from. Hold on.
Hello. 1-1 to Shelby. The man with no Achilles brings
What a
Manchester
game.
City back into the game. I mean,
snap.
Arsenal even.
It's pretty much their first
Fantastic.
attack. 1-all. I think it looks like it takes a flick on at the near post. Koscielny at the back.
That was Walker's fault as well, you know.
McCubbin called it. We've got ourselves a Premier League classic on our hands. Go on then, Duke. Take us through the goal.
So Torreira's on the corner on the left-hand side, whips it in, looks like, who's that?
That's good from
Monreal.
Is that Monreal gets a flick on and Koscielny loses Sterling. Sterling has to do better with his marking there.
That's
he literally
poor.
gives up on him.
Why is
Why is Sterling marking their best defender in the air probably? Mental decision.
I actually think it was David Silva following Nacho in. Fernandinho's kind of.
Well, they were going zonal. They were going zonal.
Great.
They went like half-half.
It's actually a great finish actually.
But
Because
that's weird,
Ederson's
though.
right upon him as well.
That's weird though, because the half that was doing zonal, they're stronger headers.
I mean, how have Arsenal been from set pieces this season? Because I don't really recall them scoring an awful lot. So
I don't either.
that's a rare source for an Arsenal equaliser. But
Mad, we've got a good
that
game.
is against the run of play, isn't it?
Think so.
And we saw, didn't they score first against Liverpool and Liverpool murdered them 5-1 or something along those lines? I think it was a
What's my man's name
similar
again?
scoreline. But Steve Bold looking absolutely
Angry, fam.
overjoyed at that goal. Thames, what question did you ask? Sorry, before Arsenal
I
equalised.
didn't ask a question.
Oh, you didn't get to ask it.
I
Go
didn't
on.
get to ask it because the amazing thing just happened. Nitin has got the next one, who says, "Is Emery really doing a better job than Arsene Wenger this season?"
What's better though? Like,
Because Arsene Wenger's
with-
last season was pretty shambolic, wasn't it?
with the team that he got, and
They're currently on track to concede more goals than they did under Arsene Wenger. So a lot of people are saying he's made us worse, but you've got to sympathise with Unai Emery. It's not really his team yet. It's a very similar personnel, very similar look to the lineup, and I actually think at least you can kind of see a more coherent system like coming through, like a philosophy.
But what philosophy though? Because I was talking to a few Arsenal fans, and they were like, he's not really got a philosophy. They don't think Emery's got a philosophy. They think that he just wants like hard workers, and that's why they think Ozil's not being played.
Yeah, but I mean, even that Arsenal, I'd say, have been a little bit more forward-thinking with things like
Great ball from
pressing.
Gundogan.
I mean, the defense is letting them down. There's no kind of doubt about that. Oh, was that a nasty one? He's squirming around on the floor. Free kick deep into
Silva's
the
new
Manchester
trim
City
though.
half.
Still
Silva's new
adapting
trim
to
is
that new
nuts.
trim.
His
Not feeling
hairline
it.
is.
I preferred him as a baldy.
Yeah, he was fantastic.
He's actually looking younger.
Yeah. But I've been quite impressed with Emery as well, actually. I think he's shown more flexibility than Wenger in the big games to adapt his tactics, his philosophy, his in-game substitutions have also been really good. Arsenal have, come back. I think they've won more points from losing positions than anyone else in the Prem. And you've got to bear in mind that last year under Wenger was not great, particularly away from home. Arsenal were shockingly bad.
Yeah.
And he's definitely improved them on the road. I think they've
lost 11 of their last 19 home
away games. So I mean, it's still not all fixed by any stretch, but definitely I think their performances in the big games have been more promising. I think did they draw 1-1 with United? Obviously beat Spurs at home. It'd be intriguing to see this summer. I'm just worried about what sort of budget he's going to have, really, because it still needs work, that Arsenal team.
Yeah, very much in a sort of same way we kind of are giving Maurizio Sarri a little bit of a pass, just because it's not fully, his team haven't fully embraced the mechanics of his, how he likes to play football yet. The same's got to be said with Unai Emery, but he's had. I think he needs at least 2 or 3 more windows before we really start judging this side. I mean, when he first went to PSG, I remember being pretty impressed with just the way he got them. I mean, working is, the game's just dipped out, but working hard or or putting together a press was not something that Arsene Wenger was synonymous with his sides in the last sort of 4 or 5 years. They'd really kind of stagnated in that sense, and a lot of the top players were moaning about training. So I guess there's been a lot of fundamental changes behind the scenes, and you hear positivity from the players that we aren't really privy to, that he's got to lay some sort of new foundations, and I really don't begrudge him the task that he's got in his hands. Look what happened to the managers post Fergie Cup. So what are your thoughts on him as a fan of a club who's gone through that
transitional,
or still going through a bit of a rough transition?
I think it's been relatively smooth, to be honest. And I think that run at the start of the season where he won 11 of his first 13 games or whatever, or was unbeaten at least for
that point
until December. I think that bought him time, which was needed. I think that's probably as a new manager coming in, especially replacing someone like Wenger. That does take the pressure off, and I think that he's probably reaping the rewards of a bit now. Obviously, he's come under pressure more in the last couple of months. The Ozil situation is not great, especially at a club that is struggling apparently financially.
After that massive new contract.
His final present.
But I think, I think he's all right. Yeah, it's been relatively smooth. You compare him to Moyes when he took over from Ferguson, and he's also the changes. Obviously Mislintat going as well. Everything that I think Arsenal as a club are probably, I would say definitely actually are not. The transition after Wenger has not been as good as it should have been. But I think to then blame that on the manager is completely stupid. There's a lot of problems at Arsenal. But Emery's a pretty kind of consistent figure so far. So he's been right.
You don't know who really to give credit to when it comes to transfers as well. But some of them have been excellent. I think Torreira's been great. Guendouzi looks really promising. And with the budget that they had. Socrates has actually looked a lot better than many expected, and Lichtsteiner not the best as it turned out. And I don't think Leno's a Premier League winning title, Premier League winning quality, I should say. But it will just be intriguing. The next 12 months massive for Arsenal in the windows. They need to sort out that defence. Koscielny not getting any younger. Mustafi still not top quality.
Well, and we go back to the kind of question about a clear game plan and philosophy. Like it's. You can at least see them sort of wanting to build it up from the back, and then they've got. So I mean, more often than not, Emery's played a kind of 4-2-3-1, hasn't he? And relied on those wide players to really come inside and be the hub of creativity. And I think moving forward, someone like Iwobi does have an awful lot more to offer, and there are other players that will sort of come to the fore, but they are really. It's helped bringing Leno in, having a goalkeeper that can pass. But they are sometimes struggling to build it up from the back, and then some of their big boys like Mkhitaryan and like Ozil have been a little bit anonymous, haven't they? Mate, turn that heater off as well.
What's that going to say? Hey, I was cold, but what's it? I was going to say, you see the job.
Sit on the corner, then the game.
With the way, obviously you can compare the transitional. Oh, that was a bad shot. With the transitional phase that United went through, and
who was that?
Otamendi
bringing it under control, rasping.
It's not the man you really want that to fall to, but
wasn't a bad effort though.
It's a great little layoff. Is it from David Silva?
That's a good ball though.
Oh, look at that from Silva.
Cheeky.
So Walker's worked that into
swung
a deep cross. Yeah, David Silva team people look like he does, and Otamendi arriving late at the edge of the box. Shot on target nonetheless. Go on, Sam.
But I don't think you can compare the transitional phase that United and Arsenal went through, because United's was there was way more pressure on Moyes just because they just won the league, and Ferguson won way more, and he's the way he left was on a high note. I think Wenger left on such a low note that anyone could have come in and just lift the spirits, and I think that's what Arsenal fans were happy about. The spirits were just lifted. Obviously, they went on that unbeaten run, but I think that unbeaten run done more damage than good in a sense.
Raised expectations.
Yeah, it raised expectations, and also it didn't highlight the issues that they were actually going through. Their defence in that period still wasn't good, but because they were winning and the second halves of games are their second half team, everyone started getting excited. But as soon as they started losing again, these issues, the stats started accumulating, and you started seeing that they were actually conceding way more.
Yeah, but I like that Emery started to play. He sort of balancing the fact his defence were pretty porous still by playing Lacazette and Aubameyang together, you know, by playing Ramsey at number 10. Like he is good at finding solutions, particularly with his limited personnel. I've thought, I mean, there's been some games, like some high-profile games where they've been poor, and there's been Arsenal fans in the office that already want to see the back of him. But I feel like that backlash is inevitable because of how good the other teams are. Like Arsenal really do have a massive rebuild on their hands, don't they? Just because they've allowed, you know, their transfer policy over the last 3 or 4 years have just they've just allowed other teams to overtake them in that regard, and they're just not a well-balanced side.
It's promising the amount of youth in their squad, though. Particularly in the Europa League, I've been pretty impressed with. You know, Eddie Nketiah's played pretty well. Smith Rowe as well. Joe Willock.
Are they game changers though?
Smith Rowe's gone to RB Leipzig, I think.
He has gone on loan.
That's a good move for him.
Yeah, I mean, it's too early to tell, probably, Sam, whether they're gonna become Premier League greats, as it were, or whether they can lead Arsenal back to the glory days. But you know, promising signs.
But fifth is, I think, the best that Arsenal could probably hope for at the start of the season.
Yeah.
Like there was no way this team are good enough. Oh,
Good
nice
play.
interchange there, Lacazette and Aubameyang.
Really good from
The worry is that if they finish fifth, I still think, you know, say United finish sixth, they're still the sixth most attractive proposition in England to join, especially without Champions League football, because United can offer more wages.
This is the problem with Arsenal, I think. The worry for Arsenal fans, like personally, I just can't see, on the current evidence, I can't see Arsenal challenging for a title for the next decade. Really.
No.
Like, and that is what, I don't know. It's just the fact that there was that obviously quite difficult period in the last 10 years under Wenger, in terms of kind of fans having to temper their expectations about what Arsenal could actually achieve as a side, has kind of that's come to fruition again now. It's like Wenger's left, new manager to come in. He's done all right with the resources he's got, but this seems like a team who will perennially be just aiming for top four. I can't see where that, unless they just need more investment. They need a lot more investment.
That sort of, they went through that transitional phase with the stadium, and I suppose Arsenal fans did understand that to an extent, and everyone appreciated Wenger's consistency. Well, at least I hope they did. What was it, 8 years where they didn't finish outside the top two?
Yeah.
But now it's almost like they're supposed to be coming through that now, and be more, you know, resemble the like a pre 2005 team, as opposed to not that far away from Everton in terms of like a starting 11. But and that's why they bought in Mislintat, wasn't it? They clearly realised that, and they're now kind of playing, the money ball game to an extent, and they're taking gambles on like Leno, on Torreira, and fortunately it's come to fruition with Torreira, but they're certainly not going after
the cream of the crop.
Yeah, even Chelsea. Roman Abramovich looks like he's now willing to spend again, and they've spent what, three players for more than £35 million in the last 18 months. So yeah, Arsenal fans, I mean,
it's tough.
Probably strap themselves in for a rough.
I mean, the next thing will be Kroenke out. I mean,
you've
already hit
offside. Wasn't off.
Nice ball there from Bernardo, who looked like he got in behind there. Well, he definitely did get in behind there. But what was I going to say? Yeah, Kroenke out. You can understand Arsenal fans' frustrations. I mean, he owns the LA Rams as well. They own
Are they not in the Super Bowl final?
They are indeed. And sorry?
Priorities.
Yeah, exactly. And he's one of the richest men in the world. Usmanov's a key shareholder as well. Again, one of the richest men. And yet the investment levels are pretty low for a club of their stature. And I don't think they'll be able to compete with the wages of the top clubs, of the Cities and Liverpools, and the Chelseas of this world, and of course the United. So it's worrying times if I was an Arsenal fan. Although I do still think, to answer the question originally, it's an improvement on Wenger, without doubt. I think things had to change.
Yeah, but I think Emery's definitely he's gonna once the pressure starts getting to him, because I think he said something recently where he was like, they don't have the finances to actually buy anyone.
Yeah, he said that he'd only be signing loan players from January.
And that's one thing that Wenger never did. Like, Wenger always used to just make it seem like there was hope. And obviously now Emery's just another manager.
It's almost better to be honest though, isn't it?
I don't think so though, because like all we do.
You don't think the Arsenal fans can tell the truth?
Yeah, as fans, all we have is hope. Like, if you tell us, you can't sign anyone or you're not going to sign anyone, you're just going to be.
But he's trying to temper their expectations.
Yeah, he's trying to cover his back as well.
No, but I don't even think that they.
Oh, hello, Manchester City through here. Raheem Sterling, the left wing. Overran it a little bit.
Look at De Bruyne on the late run. Here we
great
go.
ball.
Just too far over Aguero's head. Koscielny clears. Oh, no, I think it was Socrates that cleared actually. But City looking good through midfield. Haven't really seen much of Guendouzi or Torreira so far getting in amongst it.
I think Guendouzi's been alright.
Same.
Sprayed a couple of good
Torreira
passes.
got the assist as well.
Oh,
Pep Guardiola not looking overly
78%
on the sideline.
normal.
we've just had the possession stats for the last 10 minutes, and City have had 78% of the ball, which is perhaps not that surprising. Temps, have you got any questions coming in?
I do indeed, mate. I have a question from Saeed, who says, who is the best strike duo in the Premier League?
Ooh, nice one.
Right, and I'm joking.
There aren't many duos really.
Yeah,
Lacazette and Aubameyang obviously have a pretty good connection. There's not any.
Yeah, so much
Other-
easier to figure out a
Aguero's
trio
twos.
now.
Aguero,
A lot of
Jesus.
4-3-3s.
Well,
Aguero,
are we talking like strikers, as in strikers that play together? Because a lot of them don't play together. Like a lot of teams play like one striker.
Aguero and Jesus were great at the start of last season.
Yeah.
They played together. Loved that. But
You've got to. I mean, obviously Lacazette and Aubameyang are probably the most likely duo. Although whether they're a duo is up to debate, really, because there's always a third who tends to be in and amongst it. In terms of duos, you'd probably go Josh King and Callum Wilson.
fair play actually.
Yeah, but even then, I mean, them two do play with each other. But even then, it's like Ryan Fraser, David
Yeah,
Brooks.
exactly.
They can't really be
It's pretty
separated
fluid,
from that
isn't it?
attacking forward line. I don't think, because their service and their actual goals have been very consistent this season. Yeah, who actually plays in like a 4-4-2 now?
I don't think many
So
teams do.
Liverpool recently we've been playing 4-2-3-1 with Firmino behind Salah.
Oh yeah, but Firmino's not banging in though.
No, he's not. But he's never really been a top. He's never been a goal scorer. His game is so much more
He's
like
kind
that.
of sacrificed
scoring
himself for
season
Salah,
was-
hasn't he?
Yeah, it was last season, wasn't it? I think he's not got over 16 or 16 in the league.
That's a tough one because a lot of them don't play together. If we're going like just strikers in a team, I'd say Jesus and
Yeah,
Aguero.
you can't really top that, can you?
In terms of though, like, what would you say is your favourite or like most entertaining strike partnership of like Premier League era? 'Cause
Ooh,
obviously
oh.
mid-noughties there were like
Hello,
some fantastic
hello.
ones, weren't there?
Aubameyang.
Aubameyang just sticking it through someone's legs. Shearer and Sutton, mate. The
Oh,
original
yeah.
SAS. What about
Niall Quinn, Kevin Phillips.
York.
That's what I'm
Crouch
talking
and
about.
Defoe.
Yeah, Crouch and Defoe were a great duo.
York and Andy Cole.
Yeah.
When they played
Telepathic, bro.
intermittently together.
Bergkamp on Henry can't really be topped.
Rooney and Ronaldo?
Drogba and Nelka. Don't get it twisted. Drogba and Nelka.
Yeah, they were good, to
doing
be fair.
bits.
When
Under Ancelotti that season.
yeah, then it's like
Malouda.
Malouda.
Flora Malouda. He had a
Yeah.
great season when Ancelotti was there.
That was such a fun
Yeah,
Chelsea
it was
team
so
to watch.
good.
I used to love that Chelsea team.
Because I think that whole forward line got pretty much 20 goals, didn't they? Or
Yeah.
20 goal involvements.
And then there's
at the
obviously
very
Frankie
least.
Lamps popping in with quite a few.
Oh,
Rev.
no.
Referee
If they
assisting.
score from
imagine.
this controversy.
Have it.
Oi!
Oh.
De Bruyne.
Amazing
man.
technique to even get that even remotely close to the goal.
Yeah.
Getting
Yeah.
the team down.
Martin Atkinson with the assist there. So it's just coming back off of him. Torreira's right, put it
fantastic,
into him, to be
yeah.
fair. I'm not sure who that is actually going to. Where he'll be standing a little bit behind him, I guess.
I
but
love this technique from De Bruyne. Still managing to. Nearly. Long range effort.
It's just dusting off the cobwebs, isn't he? He's going to score another long range beaut.
Still 1-1.
Before not too soon. Temps, let's have some questions then, bro.
Yes, so I have a question from Ola, who says, which player
Yes,
has
Ola.
been the biggest...
It's Ola.
Ola?
Yeah.
Ola, it doesn't matter, does it? I'm reading the question, Sam, not you. Which player has been the biggest overperformer this season?
Ooh.
Overperformer.
Probably Holobas at Watford. He's
Maybe
how
at the
many
start,
how many assists has he got now?
Wan-Bissaka.
6. Well,
You don't think
I think Wan-Bissaka's good though.
No, but we wouldn't have said that at the beginning of the season.
Oh, I see what you mean. I was doing players that are probably not the most naturally talented, but are
okay.
playing really well. But
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Wan-Bissaka has come out of nowhere, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He's been great and must.
Yeah, maybe
you
he's
know,
a bit more of a surprise package, but then overperform. What is Ola trying to say? That just pick someone who we expect to be rubbish is currently good?
I can't speak for Ola.
That's a difficult difficult
Should
one.
we go surprise package?
Maybe
then?
maybe Callum Wilson. I don't. He's a good
Being
striker.
tatted for a £50 million.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like I don't think he's ever a £50 million striker. But he's good, but he's very much Bournemouth level. But yeah, he had a pretty hot streak, didn't he?
You don't think he could do top 8 club?
Definitely not a top 6 club.
It'd be a great replacement for Vardy when Vardy retires. I'm shining it out there now. Get him in there.
Yeah, I didn't expect James Maddison to adjust to the Premier League as quickly as he has. Leicester look an infinitely better side with him in it as a number 10, rather than playing Okazaki or Iheanacho, who have just both been extremely poor this season.
Torreira as well.
James Maddison, Lucas Torreira. I mean, we kind of profiled him a few times when he played for Sampdoria, and we're sort of pushing for the move, weren't we? So we knew that defensively he was very good in Serie A. And it was screamingly obvious that's what Arsenal needed, wasn't it? But any other suggestions? Biggest surprise package?
I think you've got to give David Brooks a shout out at Bournemouth as well. I mean, Chris and Joe on the first winners and losers of the year saying, literally doing a hashtag, who is David Brooks?
Yeah, just like the most white generic
and it's come back. I mean, fair play, gone from Sheffield United into his first year. I believe he's only 19, 20. It's pretty useful. And he's been exceptional in a pretty exciting Bournemouth side, which have been really streaky at times. They obviously had that great start, and I think they're up as high as 6th. I think they're ahead of United. And then had a bit of a downturn. Obviously, that thumping win against Chelsea in midweek, which we keep on coming back to.
We need to stop coming back to that.
Couldn't back it up yesterday, which is slightly frustrating.
Going back to partnerships, I mean, Aubameyang and Lacazette strike me as a bit more of a traditional partnership than maybe other players in the top 6. Like maybe Higuain and Hazard can start a decent relationship, because he's been dying to have someone to play off and around, hasn't he, all season, and it's not really worked for him. It didn't work for him with Morata. But yeah, maybe Laka and Aubameyang. But as for biggest surprises, I think that's it, Temps. I think that's your lot, mate. You got another question?
Just to reiterate that, a lot of people in the comments are saying Brooks as well, so they're agreeing with that.
Oh, nice.
Mark,
great minds think alike.
Mark says, what do you guys think of Peter Crouch going to Burnley?
It's fun, isn't it?
Very interesting.
It's
very interesting.
Why is it interesting?
Because it's just
that's not one of the words I'd use to transfer, to be honest.
No, because it's just like, where did it come from? Like
the mind of Sean Dyche, mate.
Like, what does it... Obviously, he adds height, but the guy is old, man. How old is he? Like 38? He
had quite a decisive role. What was the Burnley score yesterday? Because he had a hand in the goal.
He had a hand in the goal.
Yeah. I mean, the style of football that Burnley plays, all likelihood is he's going to be involved when he's on the pitch. And I think the Vokes wasn't really... It's a bit puzzling as to why they were willing to sell him for $7 million. Not that I've really kept up with Burnley and Sam Vokes, but he seemed like an okay option to have on the bench. They've got some other players that profile pretty similarly, haven't they? Like Chris Wood
and Ashley
Barnes. But I don't know if I could differentiate between the three, to be honest.
I think from the sounds of things, it sounded like Sean Dyche was saying that Vokes didn't want to be there anymore, because he was kind of saying that Crouch had a great attitude and, more importantly, was keen to come and play for Burnley, which is basically a backhanded way of saying that Vokes wasn't. I think Vokes has played something like 20 Premier League games and scored 3 goals this season, so not obviously a fantastic return, but this is for a struggling Burnley side, and I struggle to really...
third top goal scorer at Burnley.
Yeah, true. I struggle to see how much impact Crouch is going to make long term, but it's fun to have Crouch back. I love him.
No, I like him.
Most headed goals in the Premier League.
Really?
53.
Obviously.
Yeah, if he didn't have that stat, then
I always remember him not being amazing in
I read his
autobiography,
and he said that he was so determined to be good in the air, because everyone kept on thinking that was all he was good at. But he actually says growing up he wasn't good in the air at all. He actually says he's a volley specialist. Which anyone that saw that goal against City a couple of years ago will remember. And
a back heel pass specialist. StatsBomb released a tweet the other day, and it was like most completed back heel passes in the Premier League.
Really?
And Peter Crouch was top.
Was he actually? Love it, Crouch.
That's fantastic.
Ole, ole, ole.
So yeah, I think he'll probably contribute to maybe a few decisive moments.
Yeah.
And if he's just been thrown in a deal, then who would begrudge him another crack at the Premier League? Obviously, only joined the 100 club pretty late in his career, didn't he? 100 goals.
Recently. I think it was last year.
53 of them to be headers. That's
he was on 99 goals for quite a while as well.
Yeah.
Nice guy. Good leader.
Go on, Sebs.
This next one's actually quite a long question, if you want to...
All right, okay.
Settle
in for a story.
Mustafa says, if you were to take one player from each of the top 11 teams, what would be your starting 11, including goalkeeper? So
I saw this
I
question.
love a combined
You
11.
can't
I've done it already. I've done this already.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Really?
okay, go on.
One
Alright.
player from each team.
Can I get it? Yeah.
Okay.
Get it
Go
up,
first.
alright.
Go first.
Up until Sam gets it up, Doogie, the combined 11 specialist, can lead us.
Okay, so who am I taking from Man United? I'm obviously taking De Gea. He's my goalie. From City,
Are you starting,
I'm
starting
taking-
with clubs? Was it just top clubs or every
it was.
club?
You
11.
need to take one from each club.
The top 11. alright.
I'll take Doherty at right back from Wolves. Who am I taking from Leicester? I'll take
Harry
Chilwell.
Maguire maybe, or
Chilwell.
Chilwell?
I'll take
Yeah?
Chilwell at left back. West Ham, Felipe Anderson. I want
Maybe
an
you do
attack.
the defence, mate. You do the defence.
Okay,
We'll come in,
nice
do
one.
the midfield. and
Okay.
then Sam
Okay,
can
so
do the attack.
I'm doing Doherty on the left, Chilwell at left back. Centre backs, I'm gonna get an absolute killer centre back in there. Who am I gonna get in there?
Van Dijk, surely.
Yeah, you got to go Van Dijk.
But that's
probably.
the one player you get
that
from
means
Liverpool.
you can't use
That's my
another
one Liverpool player.
Yeah.
I'm going for that.
Fair
And,
play.
You boys can't use Liverpool.
yeah,
Okay.
you can't
Okay.
use Liverpool. And
Wait.
Horrible ball.
who else am I having at the back? Who else is the top
Playing
10?
4 at the back, yeah?
Everton.
4-3-3.
I'll play. I just need to get someone in from Everton from the back. Who plays alongside Michael
You
Keane?
can
I've
get
gone completely
Digne
blank.
left back.
Mina.
Yeah, okay. I get Digne at left back and I'll put Maguire from
Ooh,
Leicester.
that's good. That is better.
Okay, so you guys got McCubs. You going into midfield?
Midfield, apparently, yeah. All right, I'd say, and we've already got De Gea in goal, is it?
Yeah. Afraid no
So
United.
we can't put Pogba in the midfield. That's a shame. Okay.
McCubbin
I'm
actually
stumped.
got it.
No, you know what? I'll throw in Torreira from Arsenal.
Love
I'll
it.
throw in Torreira.
Maybe
And
are
then-
Watford in the top 11 at the moment? You've
I
got
think
I
believe they
you've got
are. Yeah.
Decore, you've got
Capoue.
who is the Pereira who went off like a rocket at the start of the
Did,
season,
yeah.
didn't he?
I like
I'd
Will
maybe
Hughes.
if we do have to put a Watford player
Okay,
in
I've
there,
got my
we
team.
probably shoehorn Decore in that midfield as well, and then. Ooh,
I like that midfield.
who else?
Torreira
Chelsea.
and
What
Decore.
about maybe
I don't think
getting
we've done Tottenham yet, have we?
I think we have done Spurs. Oh,
you
but
got
yeah,
Ericsson?
Ericsson. Get
Love
Ericsson
it.
in from Spurs.
Okay.
Means we have to leave Kane out, but
Go on, mate. Who's your front three?
My front three was Sterling, Kane, and Aubameyang. Yeah.
3 players you can't use. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Who's available?
no, we
Who's available
still
now,
got City.
Chelsea
still
are available.
City, yeah.
Play Hazard if you
Okay, Aguero. Is Chelsea still available?
Yeah.
Hazard. So Aguero, Hazard.
And have we got Palace? Is it?
And then
Zaha.
Zaha, yeah.
I think that's a
Quick.
pretty well-rounded side.
Yeah.
But let's move on because that question's dragged out, didn't
Yeah,
it?
that was a long
good.
question. So.
That's the kind of
Uh,
extra we
I had to
usually
think about
don't,
that when I was doing it.
yeah.
Yeah,
as
that's
well.
a decent one.
Yeah, that one you want to be thinking about live, is it? That one?
Next question is from You Have Nerd Neck.
Good
Great
name.
that, mate. If Arsenal drop points today, do you think they should prioritise Europa League or top 4?
Yeah, go for
Sorry,
the
just
Europa League.
chance ball coming into the Arsenal box.
Go on, McCubbin. As someone whose team's been through this conundrum, what are you
I mean,
saying?
the Europa League is it can be difficult to kind of sit through sometimes, and United were pretty lucky when we won it. But I'd go for Europa League. Just give the fans something. I don't know. I'm a great believer in cup runs, and you know, as a fan, you kind of live for those kind of moments, don't you? And you know, the top 4 race is interesting, but yeah, it's nice to go on a little run.
Definitely.
Who have they got in the Europa in the next?
I actually can't remember. But I think in Arsenal's position, having spent so long without a trophy,
just- that's
would they go
all, isn't it?
9 years?
No.
And the Premier League, realistically, we won't finish 4th, but the fans are never going to turn down the Europa League. And it's automatic entrance into the Champions League, which is crucial. So I'd go for it.
Who have we got?
Arsenal got bait.
Bait Boris.
Bates. Oh,
We get Valencia, fantastic. I'd say the big teams of value in the cup competitions less and less. So let's broaden this out. So pass Europa League. So we said this kind of when West Ham and Everton went out to Wimbledon and Millwall respectively. Like, why aren't these clubs really going for cups? So both kind of rotated the squads. You can understand why. I mean, Tottenham did it, and Poch got a little bit of grief for not starting Eriksen and just resting him. But I mean, he can, with an already threadbare squad and only kind of 6 or 7 million for winning the FA Cup. Oh, Arsenal with a half chance there. Kolasinac straight at the goalkeeper Edison.
Go on.
Oh, it's still on here. Lacazette recycling it.
Torreira! Oh! Yeah, that's away.
You were about to say your beauty there.
Beauty. Swift counter attack now from City. Go on, De Bruyne. Go on, De Bruyne.
This is going to be a Sterling goal.
Sterling.
I'm telling you.
Who's that on the far
Sterling.
right?
Drag it back. Why?
What's he doing? Bernardo's open.
Oh, what
Love
a guy,
it.
man.
That's him out again.
Advantage. It's gone a bit slow now. The break was there.
Yeah. So I mean, so you can understand Tottenham going out of the FA Cup on a bit of a win because I mean, progression past the last 16 in the Champions League is worth what, like 60, 70 mil? Winning the FA Cup's worth 7 mil. Like they have to earn money. They have to.
Is it as little as that? Wow.
Yeah, it really is. And then, but yeah, for middling sides, I've been less than impressed about the importance they put on the cups.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
I guess it's the same kind of rings true with the Europa League, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like,
But I think
the teams in the actual Europa League from the offset are going to put much more emphasis on it, I guess, than the teams dropping into it.
But then even I think the disappointing thing, I guess it's kind of it's more understandable in some ways actually that a club like West Ham don't prioritise because staying in the Premier League is worth more to them. You know,
they're not in a relegation fight, are they?
They're not, but even finishing just a place higher means more to them in some ways than say a Man United or a Chelsea because you're guaranteed. You're often going for top four. I guess that's also a priority. Yeah. But there's always the investment there. Yeah, and
but you're still getting 90 million for getting relegated, and West Ham is still like a cash-rich club. Like there is 3 or 4 obviously bad clubs in the league this year.
Yeah.
Like if you're West Ham, I don't understand.
But then clubs also at the top of the Championship, they don't care about the FA Cup either, do they? Like.
Yeah, true. I can't really speak for West Ham fans, but I imagine in 20 years' time they won't remember whether they finished 13th or 9th, but they might remember if they won the FA Cup.
I think that's just a bit of a problem in general, kind of modern English football. That kind of those kind of moments. Look at Wigan in 2013. They went down, haven't been back up since. But I don't think. I think you'd rather have won, as a Wigan fan, I would rather have won the FA Cup than been in the Premier League the last few years. To be honest, like
they're not a Premier League club, are they? So you might as well just get yours while you are. Yeah, but. Go on. Anything to add, boys? Like Sam, anything to say on Arsenal and the Europa League? You're a Chelsea fan. You're in the Europa League. What have you made of it this season? Good opportunity to see some youngsters.
Yeah, I think it's going to be harder this year to win it. Like the top clubs that are in it. Like it's not going to be as easy as let's prioritise it because realistically, you've got bait now, but your next round could be against Chelsea, could be against. Who else are in it?
Napoli,
Inter Milan.
So it was like, I hear prioritising it, but even at that, I'm sure they prioritised it last year, and we saw how that turned out. That was supposed to be Wenger's like farewell trophy, but that didn't work out. So I don't know.
Yeah, I suppose you can only kind of prioritise it to an extent.
Yeah.
What the opposition gets of such a quality that it's
just a level playing field. Yeah.
All right, let's get
This is nice.
Let's get what happened, mate?
So Guendouzi and Lacazette were sort of harrying De Bruyne in the middle of the pitch, and he was going back towards his own goal. Nicked in. Torreira, runs up the field with the ball. Aubameyang has a chance. Blocked. Corner Arsenal. 4 minutes to go before half time. Emery will be praying that they can go in with a lead. I think Arsenal have actually been pretty good value.
The pace has dropped in the last 20. Like Arsenal
City
they've taken the sting out of it.
Yeah.
I would totally agree. Haven't created all that much, but they've kept City at bay.
I think they've compensated by like stifling City's counter-attacks by not providing that much going forward.
Yeah. They're definitely more conservative than Wenger ever was in these sort of games, often to Arsenal's detriment.
Hello. Not a bad ball in there from Torreira.
Good clearance. I think it was by Otamendi. Promising signs for Arsenal in this game.
And a little hello then from Adam Templeman. Hello, mate.
Hello.
Is that a question or the fact you had a chance? Yeah, you went hello.
That's his noise. We do have a question though from Nathan.
Hey Nathan.
He says, what was the worst transfer of the January window for you?
Everyone wants to know the worst or who's overperforming. What about the best? Who's underperforming?
Wow.
Very cynical. The worst. I mean, Higuain has the potential to be, just because Sarri's kind of put his eggs all in one basket. Well, in terms of like what they needed.
That is the best.
Yeah,
Morata
is about to throw that trophy.
Worse than Morata, genuinely.
Don't get me wrong. Like, we're clutching at straws here. Like, you've got rid of the striker who does.
Hello.
No.
Sergio! What a ball from Sterling.
What a team goal that is.
That's absolutely beautiful.
If you captain Aguero fantasy,
someone does a beautiful ball over to Sterling at the back stick, he lays on a perfect ball to Aguero, whose hair looks like it's gone green.
Even his hair's turned green with envy. Look at him.
Who's this?
I love that.
Is this Fernandinho?
Fernandinho.
Oh, he switches it to Sterling.
That is so good from Fernandinho, though.
That's what he's so good at.
How many
you know?
defensive midfielders make that ball?
Who's that? Gundogan.
Fantastic from Gundogan.
Love that from Gundogan.
But that's what I'm saying. That's why it's so much
Pitching
harder.
wedge.
It's harder to find a CDM that can do.
What a
Look at that from Gundogan.
Gundogan's
Perfect amount of back
Gundogan's
spin.
ability to find the final ball actually in and around the box is a little bit underrated. He's got that delicate touch. That's not the first time we've seen that this season. And Raheem Sterling, I didn't know if he was looking for Aguero at the back there, but he definitely is. He definitely is.
That's a phenomenal team goal.
That is a great goal, a great way to end the first half. Sorry. Yeah,
I love it.
Templeman's sketch. He's absolutely slumped in his chair. What was it? So let me explain why I said Higuain. Basically, because Sarri's put his neck on the line. It's a transfer the club's hierarchy didn't want. Like I hope he does well. I hope he does well at Chelsea because it's getting boring. You having terrible number 9 after terrible or turning good players into seemingly terrible number 9s. But there's not really been. I mean, across Europe, many high-profile transfers. Piatek looks like he's going to adjust to life well at Milan. I mean, who else? Juventus are having a bit of a shocker, aren't they, with the defenders?
Yeah,
re-signed Caceres.
I think that was a bit of a shock to let Benatia go because he's actually been very good when he's played. And surely, I mean, I think that's money motivated. Why else would you go to? He went somewhere in the Middle East. And he's still only, I think he's 29, so he still had a good few years. And
29, really?
could have had a move definitely to another top club in Europe. I also say Kevin Prince Boateng to Barcelona was a weird move.
That's weird.
Just never saw that coming at all.
That might actually be it, because that move made no sense.
Yeah, I mean they sold Munir for €1 million and brought in Prince Boateng, who. What is he, 32?
No, but after he slated Paulinho, and then he went and became La Liga's most prolific midfielder that season. I don't want to say too much about Prince Boateng.
And if you think that a club of Barcelona's stature should be able to get a more able backup for Luis Suarez than Kevin Prince Boateng.
But then they went and signed Frankie de Jong, didn't they? As if to say,
yeah, we can still make it, although that is in the summer. So I'd probably go Boateng, but to be honest, there was very few to pick from. And I'd also say Denis Suarez, not because I don't think he's a good player, but nearly again.
Wow.
Ball comes to De Bruyne on the right-hand side of the box, and he just whips in a lovely low cross that Sterling nearly gets on the end of.
It's a nice ball from Bernardo, isn't it?
It is great to see De Bruyne playing kind of near to his best.
Yeah, definitely.
His technique is just
so good,
so
man.
clean, isn't it?
He's just awesome.
So good.
Brian, what were you saying about worst transfer?
Oh, I was just saying that, potentially Denis Suarez, not because he's not a good player, but because of what they were hoping for and what they should have gone for in the window, was not Denis Suarez.
Low risk again, though. That's why I said Higuain is the only one with any risk attached, really.
Yeah. I mean, it was all loans with the option to buy, wasn't it? Option to buy were the buzzwords of the window.
I like that teams are doing that, though.
Loans.
Yeah, because, as a Chelsea fan, anyway, I'm tired of just buying players when you don't know how they're going to fit into the squad.
Like a Danny Drinkwater.
I don't even want to talk about that. Drinkwater, Zabacosta, Bakayoko.
Yeah.
The list goes on.
He's doing well at that. He says he doesn't want to leave. He
should just stay there, man. Enjoy yourself back.
You guys should have offloaded a few players. I don't know why Gary Cahill didn't take a move.
He didn't want to leave.
Really?
Yeah, he didn't want to leave. I think
he
he's
had multiple offers as well, didn't
Juve. He wanted.
Yeah.
I think he's just comfortable being on the bench.
Fulham wanted him. I'm kind of pumped to see Ryan Babel back in the Prem as well. I've always
He's been alright, hasn't he?
Yeah, he just makes me. He's quite funny. He's just he's a weird guy, and he's kind of
the one Ryan Babel super.
He's kind of eccentric, and he just makes me laugh.
Yeah, he's played really well.
And he's played well in his early stages. So yeah, there's still a couple of exciting moves.
Hasn't he?
He does.
Yeah.
He's got his pink hair. He's just a bit weird. I love it.
A bit eccentric. Adam Templeman.
Half time, mate.
Half time.
Get out of your slump, big man.
Yay.
Look at the energy. Look at the energy pouring from this man. He's delighted to be here.
Clickbait king on fire.
Anyway, Barry says, this is probably for you, McCubbin, as a United fan. What do you think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has to do this season to be appointed permanent manager?
We've spoken about this one before. I think what could land him the job is if he secures top 4 and goes on a decent run in the Champions League. If we manage to beat PSG and he outdoes Tuchel tactically, that would be pretty amazing. And I'll just believe in
Is
anything.
Neymar missing both ties?
Yeah.
He's missing both ties. Yeah,
That's a big old miss for them.
I mean, having said that, they do still have Mbappe, don't they? And he's going to be coming up against our defence.
And Drax still coming.
I think something like that would maybe put him in contention for it. But I don't know. When you look at United's last 2 performances, Leicester today, good goal from Rashford, but we didn't create an awful lot. Burnley as well, we weren't particularly inspired. I think there is a sense that teams are finding us out a little bit more after that, and that's to be expected. I think it would take a pretty amazing effort for him to get that job permanently, and I think I'm assuming that the club are already kind of moving in for Poch.
It's been a great, obviously, to state the obvious, it's been a great few months for him. Not only because of United doing so well, but he's put himself back in the shop window in European football.
Yeah.
I mean, he was pretty much, rotting's a strong word, but he was in Norway. No one really, thought of him for any Premier League jobs.
After that stint at Cardiff, no.
Exactly. I mean, he wasn't even in the running for any Championship jobs. So now, even if he doesn't do it, you can say thank you very much, take his pay packet, and
leaves as the only Manchester United manager to win his opening 8 games.
Exactly. Brought the good times back. Got the best out of Rashford, Pogba, Lindelof looked great, Matic looks back to his best, so, job well done.
All right, a nice one. And if you're only just joining us on the stream, remember to drop a comment first and foremost, because Temple will read them out, then hit that subscribe button, and if you want to tune into the second half, then check the description, click the link. Yeah. You can get a Now TV Sky Sports month pass for just £5.99, and of course that includes Liverpool and West Ham tomorrow at the London Stadium, which is a pretty big game given how this is going. Adam, any more fan questions for us, big man?
Yes, we do. We have another question from the Classic, who says, "What would you rather? Would you rather win the FA Cup or finish top 4?"
Oh, we kind of just touched upon this, didn't we?
Did we?
Win the FA Cup. Come on.
Right now, as a Chelsea fan, top 4.
Yeah, I was going to say, depends who you support, I guess. In that, I don't know if you're Arsenal or Spurs. If you're an Arsenal or Spurs fan, would you be tempted to take a trophy? Do you think? Temps, you're the Arsenal fan.
I would personally want top 4. We've won the FA Cup a lot of times.
That is true.
And
that is very true.
Hasn't it taken us any further? So I personally want
thing is that finishing top 4 is I'd put a caveat on it. I'd probably rather finish top 4, but if you're giving me the choice of finish top 4 and then just go out in the last 16 the following year, I'd rather take the FA Cup. I don't see the point in being in the Champions League unless you're making the quarters.
Yeah,
it's just
the hype of the Champions League. Yeah. You don't want to we've missed out on it for the last few years, and it doesn't really feel nice. Yeah. I want that feeling back.
Harder to build, I guess. If you're Chelsea and you're on the cusp of becoming a regular top 4 side again, I guess, after dropping out just for 1 year, and you're not too far away, personnel wise, then you go for the Champions League maybe. But if Spurs, like you said, it might be if they're struggling to recruit, they've got this trophy hoodoo hanging over them. I know they have actually just gone for top 4 solely, haven't they, this year really, but it might be a slightly more difficult question to answer, I guess, if you're a Spurs fan. But I'm sure most people just say Champions League.
It totally depends who you support. I think I totally agree. If you're Spurs or Liverpool, if you're Klopp or Pochettino more specifically, it's great to get people to stop writing about the fact you haven't won a trophy. But United's, Chelsea's, Arsenal's that have all done pretty well in the FA Cup this century, not so important. So it really depends.
Yep. Jeb has got some would you rather questions.
Oh, okay.
So there's 4 here.
4, blimey.
Fire.
Hey,
nice one, Jeb.
You ready?
One word answers.
Aubameyang or Aguero?
Aguero.
Yeah. All Aguero?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Mesut Ozil or KDB?
KDB.
Oh, that's so sad. It's so sad that it's so quick, because that used to be an actual
I'm liking these. Bam.
Koscielny or Vincent Kompany?
Company.
Are we just going to go with all Man City players?
Last one.
Is it?
Lacazette or Gabby Jesus?
Oh, that's
Lacazette, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I love Lacazette. I think it's quality.
I love Lacazette.
If I tweeted this out this week. It actually didn't get, no one was that bothered. But if I was Florentino Perez, I'd be looking at Lacazette for Real Madrid. I'm not even joking, because they will have to spend so big across the front line. I think they could get him for 60 to 70 million euros.
Yeah.
And I think he's genuinely that sort of elite quality. I think he's
Really?
class.
No, Lacazette's quality.
No.
I don't know how he's.
I think he's absolutely
Goes under the
brilliant. He's one
radar.
of the most well-rounded forwards in the Premier League, but I think Real Madrid need an out-and-out goal scorer. They've got plenty of players who can
They don't,
create
though.
an awful lot of chances. Yes, they do.
No, but that's what I'm saying. They stick with Benzema. They've stuck with that guy for years. He's not been
I mean, he's
banging
their top
goals.
goal scorer this season, isn't he? But they need. I mean, admittedly, like Mariano is not it. Like Brahim Diaz probably isn't it? Like if Bale can remain injury-free, but I think they probably need more of a. Like in order for Real Madrid to keep competing on all fronts, I think they need someone who's more prolific as opposed to someone who's like a bit of a defensive forward, really good creator, maybe an underrated passer, probably gets 20 goals a season, but not like he's not a 30, 35
I
goal.
don't know if they're going to have a, they're pretty difficult to come by.
Yeah.
And I'd much rather have him than, someone like, if you can't get Harry Kane, this is all, obviously go for Harry Kane, he should be your Real Madrid's #1 target. But I'd much rather have Lacazette than Icardi. 100%. He'd be also about 40 million euros cheaper and it offers more to the whole game. And I think if I was Florentino Perez, I'd go, right, this summer, I'm going for Hazard, I'm going for Kane. If I can't get Kane, I'm getting for Lacazette. Or even Son.
How old's Lacazette now?
Son Heung-min is quality.
He should go. He should go.
And he, I don't know whether he would be in the reckoning for that sort of move, but he should be, in my opinion. I think, to answer your question, I think Lacazette is 27.
Yeah, 27.
Or 28, maybe?
Yeah, I think
Really?
possibly 28.
Yeah.
I'm not. Yeah, I don't see Real Madrid forking out like £70 million for him, and Arsenal really need him right now.
Mystic Duke, we'll see.
We'll see. But that's a good little comparison there. I think I gave Lacazette as well.
Cool, I agree, Lacazette. There's a few more in the comments now pouring in. Everyone's getting involved. So Simon says Alisson or Edison.
Alisson or Edison?
Yeah, who'd you rather, Mikel?
So difficult, man.
Edison,
So
100%.
difficult. Edison is much better with his feet, isn't he? But
Alisson's really good at distributing his hands, though, isn't he?
I think this
He's a
season,
great
I'd
shot
go
stopper.
Alisson, definitely.
Yeah.
I think Edison's given away quite a few sloppy pens. I actually don't think his reading is that good one-on-one. When he's coming off his line, that's finding faults.
Right, you're like I didn't know you watch the keepers that much.
Well, I don't know my keeping as well, but it's just my opinion. But Alisson, really solid. I think they only conceded 2 goals in their first 9 home league games of the year. Liverpool have been great defensively. I know it's helped by an absolute behemoth of a man in front of him, but I think Alisson's been class.
I think the fact we've seen more of Alisson would kind of suggest, that man kind of goes back to the point we were making before, that Manchester City have been a little bit unfortunate, and maybe Liverpool will have been more reliant on key defensive personnel than vice versa. So I feel like we've seen a lot more of Alisson in terms of decisive moments, big saves than we have Edison this season. I think there's that ridiculous stat last season, wasn't there, where if Edison had conceded every shot on target at the Etihad, it still wouldn't have impacted their position in the league, which is absolutely ridiculous. Like in terms of who's more important to the side, I'd definitely say Alisson.
Yeah, I think that the impact that he's had on that back line is astronomical. Like more so than I thought he would.
Just because of where they came from as well.
Mignolet
and Karius.
For the last 4 years, Liverpool fans have been calling for a new keeper. And have been saying just splash by the best keeper possible. And they finally did it, and it worked out.
Yeah. I think Mignolet should move this summer. I think he's still a good keeper. He just wasn't.
I like Mignolet as well.
He's a great shot stopper. He's not very good at
penalty specialist as well.
He actually kept he won a Golden Gloves, didn't he? He kept 15 clean sheets one season. Yeah. But I mean, just always overshadowed by high-profile mistakes.
Do you know one thing that I thought was quite interesting? I was in the pub the other day watching Liverpool-Leicester, and a guy, he came out with some ridiculous comments as well, but a guy on the next door table said something that I thought was quite clever. It was that Liverpool might have gone big for people like Van Dijk and Alisson, but they've also signed really well from teams that have been relegated, like Shaqiri, Wijnaldum, Robertson. So they marry going, hell to leather with these big names, and also doing with lower level, playing for lower level Premier League teams. It's just quite clever. I thought it was quite interesting.
We were asking your friends who are Liverpool fans when we went to the Brentford game yesterday, who is the most underrated, who's the unsung hero of the Liverpool team, and they both kind of said Wijnaldum.
Yeah, straight away. Yeah, I love him, and I can kind of see the logic in that as well. Not even necessarily from a technical perspective, but you look at especially in the case of Wijnaldum and Shaqiri. Both of those players very much had a point to prove when Liverpool signed them. Yeah. And look at Shaqiri's been really decisive in a few games this season, hasn't he? And Wijnaldum very, very well loved as well. So I mean, don't know how much of a factor that is, but I can imagine it being a bit, especially like
And actually, when you took a look at like a closer look at the numbers last season, a lot of pundits would. When we know that Liverpool's kind of identification of talent is much more sophisticated than the average team, but you looked at Stoke's attack and like 40-something% came through Shaqiri, which is why when a lot of pundits kind of highlighted as the fact that he was lazy, questioned his attitude, but he was like, if he didn't stitch together the attack, no one did. So he couldn't be this player that worked his way back into his own third and flung himself about, because he was just their like only outlet a lot of the time. And I think if you're Liverpool and you can ignore the noise about players like him and see his benefits and his virtues, then like you said, it's well done for them.
Yeah.
But yeah, should we move on? Next question.
Yep. As the table stands at the moment, if the 3 teams get relegated who are in the bottom 3 now, from their team, which players deserve to stay?
Look at that, stitching together the questions seamlessly.
That's good. Okay. Right, so we've got Huddersfield, Fulham, and Cardiff.
Who would you want to keep? Is it, or who
deserves to stay in the Premier League?
Huddersfield team. I think Aaron Moy could probably get a move to a Premier League club. I think Billing's been quite good in midfield as well.
Sessegnon.
So yeah, from Fulham, I think you can get a fair few. I think Andre Schürrle's probably. Mitrovic has shown himself to be Premier League quality as well, definitely. Tom Kearney, I feel a bit sorry for him because he was their key man in the Championship, but fitness he hasn't really got going.
He's been a bit sacrificed by Ranieri as well, isn't he?
Yeah,
he
definitely.
Quite fit his system as much.
But yeah, and then
that Cardiff side,
I can't really see anyone in that Cardiff
Sol Bamba.
Sol Bamba potentially.
I forgot his name now. The guy they've got on loan from Real Betis, maybe.
That guy that scored that absolute peach the other day.
Yes, what's his name? He's been quite good for them.
Camarasa.
Well, Mike behind the scenes, well in Mike. Camarasa's been alright. He cost him like 50 maybe, or that might be the obligation to buy a fee. But yeah, so he's got a bit about him. But yeah, I think some pretty good answers from you. You guys answers itself, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really, it's not.
Andre Frank Anguissa maybe at Fulham as well. He was great for Marseille.
I think Fulham's the team that they have now. They shouldn't be where they are.
It's baffling, isn't it? It's just their defence.
But I feel like it always happens with a team that gets promoted.
They're Arsenal-like. They've got they're so front heavy. It's unreal. How's Tim Ream still playing?
The fact that they spent money. Well, they've got up online, didn't they? But the fact that they invested in their attack this winter. It's a bit baffling, a little bit in the way.
We've been proved very wrong as well, because most of us were saying they'd be comfortable, sort of mid to low table.
Their attacking numbers are like consistently 10th, 11th best in the Prem. And normally that's enough to at least see you by the law of averages to 15th, 16th. But they've been so bad defensively that it's just cost them. And Ranieri's not really arrested the slump whatsoever, has it? I don't think he only won one of his first 10, 11 games, didn't he? So
I mean, even the other day, I think they were. They came back from 2-0 down to Brighton.
And beat them 4-2, which is good. Like, at least that's showing there's still that kind of fighting spirit in the side, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah. So if you had to take one then each, who would they be? Starting with you, Sam. Just one from this bottom three.
Shallow.
What do you think?
I'd probably go for Seri. I think
I might go Mitrovic. I think he's got a little bit more about him than he's probably.
Fair. I think for the long term, I've got to go Sessegnon. I like Sess.
Who would you guys pick for the bottom teams in the Premier League? Let us know in the comments below. And if you haven't asked Adam a question yet, what are you playing at? Get them in the comments as well, because he's going to hammer through them second half. The players are coming back out on the pitch. If you want to join us for the second half, get your Now TV Sky Sports month pass. Access to 5 different Sky Sports channels. And of course, it covers you for that big game at the London Stadium tomorrow. I think we're starting pretty imminently. There's Lacazette, Real Madrid target according to Doogie, and Gendouzi, the last bastion of the Mislintat era, let's call it. But Temps, any questions about how the game is going to unfurl second half, and if it continues to rain, how much more green will Sergio Aguero's hair get?
Who knows? Not many questions about the actual game itself. Danny has a question about Martial, who's recently signed a new deal.
Quality.
Says, does he have the ability to be one of the best players in the league now that he's secured his future?
Yes.
Sam, you sound like you're ready to go on this.
I'm Martial FC, man. That guy, he's quality. When there was rumours of the Willian and Martial swap, I was all for it. But Yeah, obviously.
Imagine if Man United have allowed that to happen.
If Mourinho needed one more month, and that would have happened.
Just to do something stupid.
But no, yeah,
wow.
Martial's 100% going to be top 5 players in the Prem in the next few years.
How hilarious is that? Mourinho leaves and he signs like a 5-year deal. It's
crazy.
I mean, it's almost it's almost as if he didn't like him. But like Solskjaer said himself when he signed, he's kind of challenged him to be one of the best players in the world.
He said he needs to score more scrappy goals.
He does,
this week, doesn't he?
This is a bit of a weird one, but
I think he's just saying he needs to be in those goal scoring positions a little bit rather than just.
We obviously saw City score so early in the first half, and they've been right in the mixer again early on. They've come out re-energised. Well, I say re-energised. They were doing pretty well in the first half as well. Great game so far.
Yeah, it really has been.
What are you man saying for Martial though?
Oh, I love Martial. I think he's fantastic. I do think his numbers don't actually often portray, when you see him. I think he's quality.
They did at the start of the season, didn't they?
Yeah, true. But I still
games in a row he scored.
don't think he gets enough credit. I think he's class. I don't know where he'll play long term. I mean, there was always talk of him moving centrally in the long term.
That's where he came. I'm sure that's where he came.
And
then he
where
went
he played for Monaco. But he's so good coming off the left. I'd keep him there.
I'd keep him on the left. It's good to see. It's good to see Rashford being moved into the centre now. I thought his career was out on the left, but he has been pretty impressive actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, that dream that I had a few years ago of Martial on the right, Martial on the left, Lingard on the right, Rashford in the middle actually has been kind of what
come to fruition.
In the big games, in the big games, Solskjaer's used Lingard really effectively at like hassling and harrying in the middle, and then tends to use Martial and Rashford as like split forwards.
Yeah.
And it's worked really well. Particularly in that game against Spurs, I thought they were excellent, and just shows that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's not just a nice guy and a good man manager. He's actually got some thoughts up here, tactical thoughts.
I like that Rashford and Pogba seem to be building a very good relationship with another one. He's playing down the middle, whereas it always kind of seemed like, well, not always, but at the start of this campaign, it seemed like Pogba, Man City on the attack here, pause that thought. Bernardo Silva's coming down with snow on it, that bad boy.
But to be fair, he scored a
killed
screamer.
3 pigeons.
He scored a screamer against Arsenal before.
He did, but that was absolutely shocking. Just to go back to what is it? Rashford playing through the middle. Yeah, he's just so much more mobile than Lukaku, isn't he? Just gives him so much more options, and he does kind of seem. It's weirdly enough, he's like hanging around the shoulder, isn't he?
Yeah.
It's not something I'd ever expect from Rashford. Would have expected from Rashford.
Yeah, we saw Lukaku being used really effectively in the FA Cup on the right, actually, against Arsenal.
Yeah, he actually had a pretty good game.
Referee.
I think that's the same position that Martinez used him against Brazil in the World Cup, and it seemed to work pretty well as well. So Lukaku, everyone's saying his sort of career is, really under threat, but he could be an excellent impact player.
I think he's under threat though.
It's a shame with Lukaku. He just had a really poor season, and just like. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Whether it was because he was genuinely our best player last season, and
people forget how good he is.
Outside the
disrespect on him.
That's the thing. But like, it is sad to see a forward who he's kind of become a bit of a meme, and he's not he's not an immobile forward really but he just doesn't get about at all really. There's very little movement from him this season, and that's what's really cost him. And also, I think there was a point towards the end of last season where Mourinho was really kind of just using him as a target man, and that's just that when that's happening, it's just like you can see what a player's game is going to regress.
Ball still loose in the Arsenal box. Comes back to Gundogan. Can he spray another one of those delicious balls? And yes, he can.
Not good enough, David Silva. Not good enough.
It's the trim.
It's that hair.
It's the trim. I'm telling
holding
you.
him back.
He needs to go bald again,
his hairline, that was well worth the 18 months as a Goldilocks, wasn't it? Because that has come back unbelievably strong.
Yeah.
How's that make you feel?
Yeah, David, pass me the number of the man. Shall I see it enough on the tube? It's everywhere. Belgravia Centre, just digging at me every day.
Let's get
you
your
lost another hair yesterday,
Have you seen the scalp shaver adverts on the tube as well?
Yeah. Your whole
the ones that are just like
adjust to the curvature of your head.
They look absolutely enormous. I'm quite scared of those.
That is so funny.
Arsenal on the attack first time.
When Diggy makes it big, then you know what, that episode of The Simpsons where Homer's got that. Have you said, I need Temps. Temps has seen it. Cut to Temps. On that note, let's get another question.
Yes, Misa Life says, do you think Thierry Henry could still be a good manager after being sacked by Monaco?
Oh, it's tough, isn't
He can, but I think he needs to understand the space he is in as a coach, as a manager. Like, I think he went into Monaco obviously because of the story behind it and the hype behind it. He thought that he was more of a manager than he was, like, if that makes sense. Like, he thought that
he's still a novice.
Yeah, like he's not really got that weight behind him yet. And I think even from that video of him telling that guy to tuck in his chair, like, you could just tell the type of vibe that he was coming on. Like, he was like, yeah, I'm Henry, I did bits in this club, so respect me.
Yeah.
But well, in reality, like, there's no reason for all the players that were there to just respect him straight away just because of his name. Like,
To earn it.
so yeah, he could do bits, but he needs to pick his next club.
His next club's crucial,
Like,
isn't
I was
it?
going to say, I thought you were going to say like pick his battles as well, and that is probably true. He might be learned to be a little bit more diplomatic after the whole Monaco thing because he left. De Bruyne testing the keeper.
Leno fills it. Oh, good recovery from him. I think Bernardo was coming in quick. Oh no, it was David.
When Henry left, like, a lot of senior pros were training with the reserves, and it was just like, I feel like that's, you know, to go to a side threatened by relegation and make them even more fractured.
Yeah,
like,
it was weird. It was weird.
Would indicate he's not a man that's good for that sort of scenario. At least, you know, in his current sort of skill set as a manager. But Man City back on the attack, Dig.
Yeah, Aguero, a bit of space on the left. I think it was a nice ball from David.
Got away
That
with
was so
Mustafi.
risky.
Played it
Mustafi
through.
is mad.
Mustafi recovered reasonably well. Arsenal back on the ball now. Solid start to the second half from City, but it's still end to end. There's no one really. It's not a slow, sluggish game in the slightest. It's you know, both sides really going for it. It's good to see.
Yeah, it's kind of slowing up in both teams' final thirds, isn't it? But
What a great play here.
Integral.
look at the numbers Man City are back in there.
Yeah,
Crazy,
big time.
man.
Big time. It's worked pretty well. You have to say the experiment of Fernandinho at centre back so far. Neither side have really given away that many clear-cut opportunities. Pep will be pleased that Fernandinho with company out.
Oh,
Aguero's starting to play a little bit more wide now, isn't he, as well, and come in and De Bruyne.
Here we go.
He's
Still there again. Oh no, he's offside.
Walker's offside.
That's the second one.
That's happened 2 or 3 times now. Aguero's
Gone out wide.
decamped to the left-hand side, and then De Bruyne has just floated his way in, and he's kind of orchestrating attack after attack, isn't he?
There's no one I'd rather have in this position in world football than De Bruyne.
Yeah.
He is so good at that
And he
shot.
wraps his foot around it.
It's
It's just
just
alive,
amazing,
isn't it?
isn't it? Yeah. Potentially Ericsson, actually. I think he's great.
I think
for that
him and Ericsson are like the only players that in like the top 6 clubs that have like a CM that can strike the ball outside the box like that anymore. Like Chelsea used to have Lampard, now we have no one to do that. Like, it's so sad. I don't know why I keep going back to Chelsea. Sometimes, you know, when you're just reminiscing on the good days. Like.
They'll come back, I'm sure. You've got enough cash behind it.
I suppose when you're playing the 4-3-3, mate, and you've got Jorginho in the middle, you are a bit more reliant on your attacking build-up play to come out from wide positions, I guess, which is why no one's kind of coming through the middle and smacking it. But I mean, De Bruyne just does what he wants, doesn't he? Just floats about.
Yeah.
So good, man.
6, 8,
awesome.
10, whatever. Back to T. Daryl.
Yes, the next question is from Matthew, who
Right,
says,
Matt.
which current players today do you think have the potential to become future managers?
Oh, God.
Always such a hard one to call.
From that doc, I think Vincent Kompany seems to have a wise head on young shoulders. But what I don't know whether this isn't a rule, obviously, but I genuinely think the best players don't tend to make the best managers. It's always the more of the thinkers or the sort of studious midfield or defending types. That might just be a massive generalisation. I've always also, this is quite rogue, but John O'Shea speaks very well. I've always kind of admired his leadership qualities. He could potentially be.
I think Kante
manager.
can
Former, next Sunderland's next top model.
Yeah, exactly. Well, he certainly won't be the next top model.
I mean, in the Premier League, the best managers, sort of, I suppose, era-defining managers have been second-rate players, haven't they? Mourinho, Ferguson, and
Klopp was never.
Ferguson was a decent striker in his day.
in Scotland, but he never really. I mean, he played for like 7 different clubs in Scotland, I suppose, didn't he?
Have you seen the Arsene Wenger skills compilation? He looks like he's got a bit about it.
Oh right, just on the training pitch. He's doing some kickers, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I mean, maybe that's just there's a correlation there between not being as like realising, you're not a superstar and thinking about management earlier in life, or just kind of having to to strive more because you don't excel at any one given thing. Like
Yeah,
strive more in general. But
I think captains are always have a shout, don't they? Because you're as a captain, especially like say Guardiola, like probably a bit of an exception in terms of top managers who are actually top players. He was studying. He was really studying the game from a very early age, wasn't he? And trying to have more. He was having way more of a say in kind of training on the training ground than most captains.
And Cruyff really took him under his wing, didn't he? Like, who knows what would have happened without Cruyff? But I suppose Guardiola might have that same impact on a Manchester City player. Kind of passing on the baton sort of thing. So you might be a good shout with Company. Did seem very diplomatic in the dock, didn't he?
Yeah, he's great.
Sam, you got any ex-Chelsea players you think are going to be future legends?
Joe Cole, who we met this week.
Oh yeah, no, Joe Cole, 100%. Joe Cole, players that are currently playing.
How is he allowed just to waltz into there though? That's such slack marking from Arsenal.
Yeah, it's poor.
I think it was Sterling on the left-hand side, just plays through De Bruyne, and he's got acres of space. Sorry, Sam.
Oh, you could have struck that bell.
No one's really marking De
Surprising.
Bruyne. He's just eluding.
Yeah, because he's just moving. He's moving. He's just floating on the wall.
Bernardo Silva's just bodied him.
Oh my days.
Good recovery.
Great.
Oh no, he's lost him.
All 8.5
through. Here we go.
Oh.
Just too heavy from
all
Bernardo.
8.5 stone of Bernardo Silva there, sending 2 people for a hot pot.
He's no shrinking violet, Bernardo.
Good news,
I remember
he's
that
literally just
Liverpool game,
recovered,
he was
bro.
bossing it as well, physically.
Oh, he's off, isn't he? No. Fair enough. Go on, Sam. You were saying Chelsea players. Joe Cole.
Current players or ex-players?
Or whatever.
Current players, I'd say in the team that we have now, I say Aspie will be a good manager.
Seems like a nice guy.
I think Kante, I think Kante will be a good manager. I think I think he'll be one of those like quiet managers that just gets the job done.
Arriving at work in his mini, modest.
Yeah, like just a modest guy. Everyone respects him. Just simple.
Fair.
I felt every last drop of that. I heard every last drop of that go down the
Everyone always taking
He loves a goal, bro.
How
He loves a
throat,
goal.
Came up on Kieran's comment show as well.
Sign of a good Scotsman, isn't it?
On that bombshell, let's go to more questions.
Yeah, next one's from Aaron. Staying on the same subject, Lampard or Gerrard, who do you think will be the better manager?
Lampard.
Early days, isn't it?
Hopefully Lampard, for the time being. I mean, it's very hard to tell. I mean, I don't think he's overperforming with Rangers. Gerrard is still kind of spent the second most after Celtic, and they're still some way off the pace. I mean, Kilmarnock are kind of level on points with them now, so I'd be careful not to get caught up in the Gerrard hoi polloi. I mean, they're certainly had the best structure and sort of team press against Celtic that I've seen in recent times. But has anyone watched much of Lampard's derby? 'Cause I know Joe was raving about it.
I think I've watched both of their teams.
Yeah.
Not many times, but from what I've seen, I think Lampard will do better just because his team plays better football.
Yeah.
That's what I think personally. But I think also with the loans that Derby get plays a big
Mason
part.
Mount,
Big part
Harry Wilson.
in the football that they're allowed to play. So it'll be interesting to see them both in the same league, and having the same resources or just similar resources, and seeing how well they do against each other.
I can't say I've watched a lot of Rangers, but I've seen a few Gerrard interviews, and he doesn't mess around in his interviews. He's quite spiky.
Yeah, but did you expect anything else?
I'm not quite sure. I didn't know what to expect. I just thought he was quite boring in interviews, but he calls out journalists quite regularly.
I think that's exactly the manager I expected him to be, and this is why I think Lampard might be a little bit better. I think Lampard might be a bit more of a a student of the game, whereas Gerrard's a bit more of a motivator, maybe. But that might be just that as they start out, that might be what they are for the next 2 or 3 years, and then it's not beyond Steven Gerrard to reinvent himself, is it?
Definitely.
But I do think when I hear Lampard speak about the game, it feels like he's tactically got a greater understanding at the moment. But that's just McCubbin. You got any
Not particularly. I'll be interested to see if obviously Liverpool fans would love Gerrard to be the successor to Klopp.
And having never won the league with Liverpool, it would be nice for him to win the league.
It'd be pretty. That'd be pretty crazy, wouldn't it? Do you reckon? Could you see Lampard going to Chelsea eventually? Obviously those links are already there in terms of being able to get the loans.
I think he'll go there eventually. But I don't know when, and I don't want him to go. I don't want him to ruin his legacy to go in Chelsea too soon. So I think he should just chill at Derby for a bit, find his philosophy, solidify it, and then come back and then
he gets them promoted.
Champions.
offers are going to come in, right?
Yeah, true.
Like,
Yeah, I mean, a lot of seasoned managers have tried and failed with Derby, haven't they, in the last 5 years? They've been like the nearly men under McLaren, under
Rowett.
Gary Rowett. So yeah, it would be impressive, much more impressive than finishing second with Rangers.
Sterling on a little.
It's in!
it's in now.
Oh, Sergio Aguero!
No, he's not. No, he's a goal. He's a goal.
Hattrick
Sorry for
hero.
the confusion.
Go on then, guide us through this whole scenario as it unfolds. Because Gendouzi is
There
saying
seemed
handball.
like a lot of complaints.
interesting.
Martin Atkinson being crowded around, but yeah, it was good work again from Sterling. Was it on the left-hand side, and then he crossed it in low. It looked like Leno sort of maybe got his angles wrong.
Sterling
We'll have another look at it now.
Iwobi.
So
Are you
Sterling,
mad?
nice dribble.
So good from Sterling.
Takes Liechtensteiner wide.
Second assist.
Leno doesn't
Oh,
make
it
it.
is a little hand.
It does hit his body though. His hands kind of. Does
On
it
the
have
fo-
that
on
much
the
of an
follow-up.
effect?
Oh, why didn't I triple captain him, man?
Oh,
it hits
that
his
is a
arm,
hand.
you know?
It does go.
Forearm, but you know, who could begrudge Sergio Aguero?
Bundled in. Clearly over the line as well. Kieran celebrating behind the camera, loving life, 3-1 up.
No, that's not really handball though.
He couldn't
It's
get rid of
he's
it.
sad.
He literally
He's
falls
sad.
onto it, doesn't he? It's a difficult one, but.
I mean, it's not an intentional handball, but it's definitely handball.
I wonder
It's hit his arm.
VAR from next season, that'd be interesting.
Whatever it disallows. It
What
would
would they say
disallow that, wouldn't it? It's gone in the last
Probably
time his
would.
arm, yeah.
New rules from next season with handballs. If it hits the hand and goes in, intentional or not, no goal.
No goal.
Mad.
Great
there
shout.
There we have it from behind the scenes. Mike
Interesting.
Atkins reliably informing us that next season, even if it is accidental, it will be disallowed as a handball.
That's out of order though.
Why is it?
Mike
Because
Atkins,
it's
part-time
accidental.
referee.
It's a part of your
What do you
body. It's a like.
If you're accidentally cheating, you're still
Yeah.
cheating.
True. That's actually very true still.
Well, this is the problem. This is the problem I've always had with handball because it's like it's intentional, but actually, what the actual definition of intentional is not intentional.
Yeah.
It's like it's
Why
so.
didn't I triple captain
It's,
him?
yeah, there's
I-
no point getting into a debate about handballs to be honest. But it's yeah.
Yeah.
no,
I
it's fine,
I
it's
think
fine.
that's. I'd agree with that ruling. Anyone have a problem with it?
No, I quite like it.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's-
furious.
What's he so annoyed about?
Bottle
Who's he calling?
thrown. He's angry. He's
I can't
real
wait.
angry.
What I can't wait for is
shouting
the
how?
scarf coming off because that does happen,
Yeah.
doesn't it?
Oh yeah, big time. Big
he's-
time. I don't
my
particularly like his
scarf's
choice of scarf today. Actually, there's a sort of lime number.
I don't really like his
on
fleece either.
Fire.
Really?
He's a chunky knit man, isn't he?
Yeah.
No.
His casual wear can sometimes be a bit questionable. Here we go, De Bruyne, right on the right.
Drilling. Oh, he had.
Did he just hit the post? Or
No,
did that come
came
back
off
off
Leno, yeah.
You've got to
Right.
say that in the last 10 minutes, City have
Stepped it up
very
big
much
time,
stepped it
yeah.
up. There's quite a few clear-cut opportunities. And we've also got to give a shout-out to Sterling. I think that's his second
Sterling,
assist.
yeah.
He's finding a lot of
Yeah.
space on that left-hand side.
Arsenal looking pretty ragged now, actually, aren't they?
Yeah, it's
Uh,
all sort of gone to pot.
he's gonna
I feel
bring
like De
Ozil on
Bruyne
at
has
that
just
70th
moved.
minute.
Like De Bruyne and Aguero have swapped position, and it's just caused chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Or not directly swapped position, but just kind of rotated
Yeah,
around.
yeah.
And this is where like Man City are probably only Liverpool can rival them in how fluid their attack can be.
Yeah,
Look,
100%.
Bernardo Silva's now the last man. It's just that constant change.
They just do what they like, don't they?
And look, and De Bruyne is out on the right wing.
Yeah.
Imagine trying to mark these guys.
He's just
Ready
hanging
to rip it
about.
up.
No one is anywhere near De
so
Bruyne.
fluid though.
Who's-
Like you
Who's that
can't
right
count
wing-back?
that.
Lichtsteiner's having a torrid time marking Sterling.
Yeah, who'd have thought that?
Oh yeah, it's
Surprise.
Paul
Lick.
Lichtsteiner, that's like...
Surprise, surprise. 35 versus, fresh
Get
Raheem
Callum
Sterling.
Chambers back, CDM.
I reckon
Lichtsteiner
Cole
might be even
Jenkinson is
older
going to
than
be the
Buddy.
starting Arsenal right back by the end of the season. I reckon
Wow.
it's gonna happen. Lichtsteiner will probably get injured at some point.
He needs
Jenkinson
a
will
move,
be
Carl
back.
Jenkinson.
He still wants to prove himself. He still reckons he can do it at Arsenal. That's what he's
He
been
loves the
saying.
club.
At the moment, I feel like this is Gendouzi just trying to like hold back the flood when every time Man City bring it forward.
Oh, they've just kicked it
not
out. Attempts it.
Mustafi gives the ball
I
back
said
to
4.
Leno
I
and he
said 4.
tries
What did
a
I
little
say? Did I
shit.
say 3-1 or 4-1?
You said 4-1, I think.
Temps,
No,
why,
no,
don't
I
you,
said
I think you
4-1.
did
You
say
said 3-1,
3-1.
I think.
Yeah, you did say 3-1.
Temps, why don't you give us your...
Oh, pen.
No pen.
Oh, he's giving a yellow.
Let's go over to Adam Templeman for his thoughts as an Arsenal fan on this game so far. Look at that eye rub.
That's all we need. That's the perfect
The
soundbite.
next question sums up my thoughts, mate. Riley Burns. What defenders should Arsenal sign in the summer?
Ooh.
That's definitely not a pen for starters. Gundogan has just ran into someone.
It's not a pen, but it's not a yellow card.
I'd like to see them go for
Oh,
someone
did he
like.
get booked for that?
Yeah.
I'd like to see them go for a top player. I think they should really spend. I'm thinking upwards of 50 million.
Dennis looks a lot like Ramsey.
It's like a better.
But they kind of look like Emery's he looks
like
like a bit of a if Emery had a son with Aaron Ramsey, that would be Dennis Suarez.
The weirdest thing that's been said on this stream. I understand.
Oh my days.
You wait till he comes back to it as well.
Emery, so he's part vampire, part Welshman.
But I was going to say, I think Daniel Rugani would be a great signing for Arsenal. Always reliable when called upon for Juve. Still not getting regular minutes. Age 24 now. Always liked him. I think
Scored against Parma.
Yeah, great passer of the ball as well. Comfortable bringing the ball out. I think Arsenal could do a lot worse than.
Yeah, Chelsea tried to get him, didn't they, for 40
Yeah, they did.
But I don't think Juventus are going to let him go.
You see the problem with Iwobi there?
No, potentially not.
The 2 extra touches that he took in that moment. Just
he has been dithering today, hasn't he?
What about you guys? Are you guys fancying any defenders?
What we're saying about Iwobi, that's some good analysis I heard,
He just takes too many touches. He takes too many touches in the final third. I think that's what most
frustrates
Arsenal.
people.
Yeah, like I think he's genuinely good. Yeah,
he is good.
But he thinks about it too much, and you can see it. Like when you see him flicking his legs like that, and then the move comes to nothing. It's frustrating.
Look, they look similar. He looks like a cross
That's
between Ramsey and Emery.
And he's coming off.
It's coming off fusion.
And that's the last of Iwobi's contribution. He comes on for Ramsey, who's been brilliant as a substitute whenever he's sort of come on for Arsenal this season. And Dennis Suarez is making his debut. So excited. Ex-Manchester City, of course, spent a few months, didn't he, in the youth setup coming on for Sai Klasenac.
So does that mean he's
going for it?
He's going. Is he going? What position is he going to play? Then?
I really don't know.
Left
see. He can play across the midfield, and lots of people were speculating that when he played, he'll play wide on the right.
So
he's going to be
essentially got 2 midfielders on.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they're going just 3 at the back. Torreira maybe a little bit more defensive and packing the midfield. I guess. Not really sure.
And Suarez playing on the left, maybe. Is Suarez on?
Quite possibly.
Here
he is.
Is that his first touch?
He's on the right.
Or maybe
he's lost his first touch.
Have they gone 4-4-2? With Lichtsteiner right
here we
back.
go. Right, Sterling through.
He's gone.
And Monroe.
Aguero's.
Good doozy, close your legs. Ref, that's not a foul.
That should be a foul, shouldn't it? But
who's number 20?
Bang it.
Oh no.
I knew it. Unlucky. They're all going back.
I mean, this has become like...
It's become quite ragged.
What do you man think about the Ramsey situation though? Like, obviously he's been signed by Juve, yeah. But who do you blame?
It's not been confirmed yet, has it?
No, I think it has. I think he's done his medical.
Arsenal, hello.
He's done
been for medical?
Yeah, he's done his medical. I think he's signed the contract now.
Is it confirmed 100%? Oh, well, fair play.
Who do you blame? Do you blame Ramsey for wanting too much, or Emery for not seeing? Because I'm sure if Emery said that we need this guy,
he did at the start of the season. He said we're going to build our team around Aaron Ramsey as a number 10. Like he's a very kind of Unai Emery. A number 10 in that he's a bit more of a workhorse. He's a good presser.
Yeah.
But they didn't want to give him 200,000 after giving Mesut Ozil 300,000, and it's a bit of a double-headed kind of snake, isn't it? In that they don't want to pay Mesut Ozil 300,000 or possibly more, like you say. But this team now appears to be more set up for Ramsey than it is Ozil. So disappointing on multiple fronts. You can see why they wanted someone to come in and sort out the squad, the transfer targets, and he's kind of. I mean, Aaron Ramsey's carried himself in an exemplary way. It's got to be said, but I mean that tends to happen when you're being, when Juventus are apparently paying him what he wanted.
Exactly.
And
I always think it's indicative when a player wants to move about who comes in for him, and all the big dogs wanted Ramsey.
That's why I find it strange. Like obviously, if you see that those type of teams are coming for him, you should see.
You must see that he could be needed.
Yeah.
Or the potential you'd have on your side as well.
And it's mad because, like, let's say 10 years ago, you would have said Ramsey or Wilshere would have been captain of Arsenal, and both of them left for free.
Yeah, it's a strange one. I wonder who. I mean, it's going to be really fascinating. I think next year for Arsenal is going to be really interesting about who they build their side around creatively. Because obviously, I'd be surprised if Ozil was here next year. Ramsey obviously going as well. Maybe they'll switch to a 4-4-2 or some variation
I
of
think
that.
they are playing 4-4-2 now. Coincidentally, you got Mustafi Koscielny at centre back. Monreal's gone back out to left back. Lichtsteiner at right. So
Torreira and Guendouzi in the middle.
bring it and then.
Here's Torreira, a bit of space in midfield.
Give it to Suarez.
Get Dennis
Suarez on the ball. I need to see.
I want Dennis
him to just touch it at least.
I want him to do something unbelievable and just question George about it tomorrow.
Yeah, George isn't happy with Excuse me with the move you did.
Is that him on the ball now?
Yes.
It's 22, yeah.
Oh,
First
why
completed
didn't he
pass.
start?
Thames, what are the good people of FD saying?
Ansu says, does Leroy Sané need to move clubs to further his career?
What?
No.
Leroy
Why
Sané.
not?
I don't think
Why
so.
would he do that?
There's a lot of questions
Does he
about
mean-
Leroy Sané.
Does he mean just to get more game time? The fact
Yeah,
he's not
just
started this game, I guess
pretty much,
it's
yeah.
got people
He's on the
talking.
bench.
Leroy Sané. I mean, one
Real
big
Madrid
question.
maybe, but
Yeah, one big question for him is that when Mendy's back and Pep's playing his preferable system, which was Mendy sort of marauding down the left, at least at the start of the campaign, wasn't it? Is he going to get even less minutes? I guess there's always going to be an element of rotation with him at Manchester City. Oh man, I mean, you'd imagine Real Madrid won't go after him now they've got Diaz, but he'd be quality at Real Madrid.
That'd be fantastic. But that's genuinely the only club I could imagine him going to. Or maybe if he was going to be like a Robben replacement at Bayern. Yeah. Those are the only two clubs. Otherwise he's not further in his career. He's regressing it.
Yeah. I don't really see why he would want to. I think Man City are in the perfect position with the squad they have now to challenge for all 4 titles every year for the next 5 years at
100.
least. Whereas Real Madrid, in a bit of a rebuild, there's no guarantee. But it is concerning when, Pep was saying earlier in the year that he had a few attitude issues and didn't necessarily train the hardest and maybe wasn't perfect for his system. So that was, a bit damaging from his standing as well. But if I was Sané, I'd definitely stay at City.
That's what I think is good for him though, because he needs to. He's going to score 4th.
Can you imagine if he
Well worked.
Aguero for his 9th and 12th.
Well worked into the box again. Like the amount of chances that Manchester City have had inside the box today, I put it at least 6 or 7.
Yeah.
Arsenal can see even high quality
defence has
chances.
been at 6s and 7s.
They've had a bit more possession, haven't they, Arsenal, in the last 10 minutes or so?
Yeah. But still not really threatening City in dangerous areas.
No, look at
Whereas
Fernandinho.
Fernandinho again on the...
Have they created one chance this half, Arsenal?
No, it's been really flat, hasn't it, second half from Arsenal, where City have just stepped it up a gear and they've looked quite comfortable.
They were just working overtime, weren't they, in the first
That's
half?
it. Going back to Sané.
Yeah, go on.
I think he needs a manager like Pep to keep him motivated and keep him because I think Sané is the type of player that once because they had such a good season last year, you think, okay, I'm at this level now. But I think Pep keeps on pushing these guys. That's why Sterling now, he's looking so seasoned. Do you get what I'm saying? And before, I think the conversation was Sterling or Sané, but I think now Sterling edges that a bit more clearer just because you can tell he wants to be better. I think Sané sometimes goes into a shell of, I've got the quality, I'm good the way I am. And Pep doesn't mind benching him. So I think it's good for him to be in a side where there's so much competition, man.
I think definitely. I think they've all looked energised. All the forward line have looked energised this season by the arrival of Mahrez.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely made Sané and Sterling up their game because they know that one poor performance, Mahrez comes in and he's been great when called upon as well.
Yeah.
So it's an exciting time.
I heard Mahrez was complaining about game time as well, though.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, yeah, them two definitely feel like slightly more individual as players than the rest of the team. Like it feels like Raheem Sterling is fully bought into whatever Pep Guardiola was trying to do with him, which is exactly what you were saying there. Whereas he's I don't know, maybe just a bit more adept in his system. Like it's showing this kind of half. Sterling can pop up anywhere, can't he? He's playing the right, he's playing the left. All throughout the season as well. And Sané's a little bit more of a traditional winger in that sense, but still just devastating from that side, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I could definitely see Sané playing for Real Madrid. You can put 2 and 2 together.
Him in that white kit, just
killing it as well. Which is there you go. 14 attempts to 4 in this 73 minutes so far, which I'm pretty sure
9 attempts on target.
Pretty sure Arsenal would have had the majority of those in the first half as well.
I can definitely see a few more goals in this game as well. Like Arsenal's defence is looking
it's like
pretty
getting
ropey
worse.
at times. They're getting absolute work. They're getting worked over.
And I've not actually seen an awful lot of David Silva in this game.
No.
Aguero just bullying Suarez.
The look on his face says it all, doesn't it?
He looks like an airbrushed Aaron Ramsey. He looks like a Ken doll version of Aaron Ramsey.
I'm still sticking by my Ramsey Emery son.
Well, let's not bring that up.
You said it once already.
Let's get a few more questions then while there's a bit of a lull in the game.
Yes, Marcus C. Johnson says, Which team from the top 6 will have to spend the most in the summer in order to win the league next season?
Go on, my Cubs.
Well, I don't know what.
Must be up there.
In order to win the league is a bit of a weird one because you'd say Arsenal probably need to spend the most in general, but they're not whatever they spend, they won't win the league.
Zing.
I'd say.
Come over here and say that. On the social corners.
Well, but you can't. It's a different world.
You saw Hernandez box fly over the room there.
I don't know, to be honest. Like, I really only think that Liverpool and City can win the league no matter of investment. I think
we can win the league, man. If we invest in like 4 or 5 players, that we can win the league.
Perhaps I'd say maybe Chelsea have the most obvious. Ooh.
Good save, Leno. He's actually done quite well.
Another shot inside the box there from Man City. And what is Aguero doing on the edge of the box in that scenario? This is, they're such good free kicks, aren't they? You know when he delivers them so flat, De Bruyne up.
Yeah.
Oh.
Why is
So
he
fast.
Why is he
That's a
entirely
good save,
free as
actually.
well?
That's a very good save. Doesn't see it till quite late.
It's really nice technique from Aguero. Outside of the boot, takes
So
a little nip off Koscielny's knee.
So in short, your answer is Arsenal, but they still won't win the league. What they spend?
Yeah.
Sam, you're saying Chelsea if they spent a conservative amount, medium amount?
If we spent, not even spending, just on the right players. If we get the right players in like 3 positions, then we'll be good. We don't need.
Where would you want those players?
We need a centre attacking midfielder to get Barkley and Kovacic out of that team. We need another striker, and we need another winger. Actually, and we need a left back, and we need a left back.
You could probably get a centre back as well.
But at the same time, at the same time, I don't think Chelsea need as many as like we've never had like a full squad. When we won the league, we've never had like the best player in each position. Like I don't think we need that. We just need like certain positions to be really good to just
bring the whole team up.
Yeah.
I think like 2 years ago, you probably still, I thought on balance, maybe had the best starting lineup.
Moses and Alonso.
Of anyone. No, this was before Alonso, but like when Conte first took over, I think you in some ways had the best balanced starting 11, but obviously
I don't think we did though, and that's what I'm saying, because like Moses wasn't that great. Like he's not a great player, but Conte made him look good because of the system. The system. Do you get what I'm saying?
Sure.
So I think if Sarri can do that, like he's got a good system. If he can get a few of the players, like for example, he got Jorginho in, and that made a big impact. If he had like 2 or 3 more like key signings, I think it would be good to challenge for the league.
I mean, it's great for Manchester City and Liverpool that like the other teams are not unwilling to spend, but not willing to match them. Do you know what I mean? So,
yeah.
Like this, I can see this being the top 2 for the next 2 to 3 years, just because of. Well worked into the box again there from Kyle Walker. I've not seen Kyle Walker this advanced in a game.
Yeah, in a
little while. Yeah, he's played well up and down that right hand side. And who is this coming on? Is that Mavropanos?
Mavropanos.
It is indeed.
So Ozil was not coming on.
Emery's
Mustafi
boy
must
be coming off because of injury. Like
I think this will be Mavropanos' first appearance this season.
Wow,
lovely.
Mustafi just spent 5 minutes on the ground. So, but yeah,
Emery is
Tottenham. It's been a case of who they can keep.
Yeah, forget Spurs,
but now
actually.
it's just.
No, but to be fair, if they made signings, they would 100%. They would 100% challenge for the title.
Yeah, but at the minute, it's if they make a signing, like multiple signings, isn't it? Like they've been only one central midfielder away from having like the most coherent starting 11, and they just won't buy that central midfielder.
The thing is though, if Pochettino is going to stay at Spurs this summer, like the only way he will stay at Spurs, I think, is if Levy promises him. It promises him like big signings.
With no signings.
Like there's no way he's at White Hart Lane after the summer if they don't promise him signings. Like has to happen.
It will be interesting to see. I mean, in a hypothetical world where Man City win this league title, for Klopp, he must be like, what more? I mean, I can't really.
He can't
really change that starting 11 too much. I mean, you maybe argue that they could have more depth at centre back and maybe like a top elite middle midfielder, but that was supposed to be Naby Keita, and he has sort of flatly disappointed this year. And they're going to, Fekir as well. But it's really promising. I think Liverpool are in a great space for the future as well. I mean, City obviously have the younger front line, but the earliest contract for the Liverpool front 3 to run out is something like 2023.
Yeah.
They are all long-term, down, locked in, under Klopp.
I thought Mane was brilliant against Leicester as well. In that you forget, like you always think of of Salah as being like talismanic, but the strength of the front three is that they're so different.
Yeah.
And they're like each of them can be suited to different scenarios in a game. And you've got Mane, who's just like Leicester were. He was just kind of like pulling Leicester's back line about because he's much more kind of mobile, isn't he? I guess than someone like Salah, who's kind of all about short bursts and like those curling finishes. And then you've got Firmino as a defensive striker. So I do think maybe. They complement each other so well at the moment that if you lose one of them, it ripples throughout the team, doesn't it? Maybe a bit more than you'd think or hope or expect.
They're always linked with. I mean, they've been linked with Rabiot a lot in the last couple of months. That'd be really exciting.
He's getting who he wants, though, isn't he, Klopp?
Yeah, consistently. I mean, they're backing him to the hilt, aren't they? And Timo Werner to Liverpool. Those rumours always seem to surface every couple of months as well. Although where he'd necessarily fit into that front line and whether he'd be happy to be not necessarily a guaranteed starter at his age with. The career that he could have if he keeps on playing regularly. I don't know whether he'd go to Liverpool, but yeah, it's difficult to see where to really improve him.
Who's just come on there?
Jesus for Aguero.
So Aguero must have 10 in 12 against Arsenal now after this hat-trick?
9 in...
You got 3 today. He had 7 before, I think, was it?
Has he got 2 today?
So 10.
3. He's got a hat-trick.
3?
Yeah.
Oh, crap.
I've got that.
Did anyone else just that spring up on them?
no,
I've known the whole time. Since he scored that 3rd goal, I've been pretty certain.
And I was thinking to myself then, who did I even think scored the other goal?
I thought he'd only got 2.
That's a great
Could
move.
be a 4th.
That was a great move.
It's
Jesus getting involved already.
Again, Jesus going on the right, and then De Bruyne playing down the centre. Just like even
De Bruyne's just been hugging the touchline now, hasn't he?
Even if Liverpool's attacking trying aren't as fluid as that, are they?
Yeah.
To answer your question though, McCubs, he's got 10 in 13 now.
10 and 13.
I
would be surprised if anyone's got that many Premier League goals against Arsenal.
Oh, good save, Leno.
Another good save.
Leno must be spitting with his defence.
Sterling. Oh my gosh. Oh my days.
That's a meme now.
That sounded like one of those screaming chickens, you know?
I think it was more like a banshee.
No, you can't be doing that to guys.
If he faced 9 shots on target 10 minutes ago, Leno must have made maybe 12 saves now in this game. It's been a great performance by him, and one that he was kind of much needed because he's been a bit maligned in some areas this season. Some people criticising his recent performances, particularly over coming out for crosses. He's been criticised for heavily.
Come on, Dennis.
He's not going to do anything.
Get us a goal, Dennis.
He's not going to do anything this game. He must be thinking, why did I leave City?
Let's go to Temps then.
Final
10 more questions, mate.
Yeah.
8 minutes left.
One from Reed, who says, which English club do you think will go the furthest in the Champions League this season?
Has anyone got a sneaking suspicion that Borussia Dortmund are going to absolutely do Tottenham?
Yeah, potentially.
Could happen, couldn't it?
Could well
I just
happen.
think they're just there's such a different proposition. Who's going to be back? Are Ali and Kane going to be back?
No, they won't. They might be back for the second leg if it's in March. They're both supposed to be back by mid-March.
I mean,
but
the English teams have been pretty unlucky with their draws. PSG, Bayern, Dortmund.
I've got a
that is nuts.
I've
And
got
who
a
are Man City playing?
Schalke.
Schalke.
I got a weird
they should
feeling
win
that PSG, Man United might do PSG.
Do you think?
Just without Neymar, I know obviously goes without saying Mbappe and Edison Cavani, but he is their creator.
Talisman,
I think you can potentially isolate Mbappe without,
But I still don't think
Neymar.
United's
They're so
defensive
good
quite
together,
full.
And if you've enjoyed the vibe on this stream, make sure you come back for that in the week on Tuesday.
Vibe.
Yeah.
There we go. So we did
Another
it
armchair
one.
fans.
We'll be doing it one way, shape or form. It'll either be a football social or an armchair fans. Yeah. Undecided as of yet, but yeah, we'll be around for.
Well, Dean said it now, so we've got to do it.
We've got to do it.
Yeah, it's firmed up in my mind anyway.
No, I think
even if we decide not to do it, you should just come down here and do a live stream, just you.
I might bring back Whispers of the Dragon Master special.
On his Instagram Live. Yeah. Remember when Dave Jackson went live on Instagram when he was after he'd been drinking outside Market Bar, and he was talking to it for like 10 minutes, and I went over and checked, and he had like 3 people viewing it, and one of them was John Stiff, who works with us in the office, who just put "stop it."
That's brilliant.
Over to Temps.
I don't know if you answered that question, did you?
What did you ask?
What was the question?
Which English club will go the furthest in the Champions League?
We didn't really.
Holding us to rights. I like it, mate.
Come on.
Go on, Sam.
Answer people.
Nothing particularly
City.
exciting, sir, except for...
Go on.
Sorry,
Simon.
on pause.
What's he doing?
Raheem was
selfish
in.
man.
That is crazy.
I
man.
mean, to
That
answer,
is crazy.
to
selfish
answer
guy.
the question, looking at the draws, you've got to say City. I
Wow.
think City are the only side that are pretty much guaranteed to go through, although they have been a
That's
bit
actually
shaky in
worth
some
saying as well.
Champions League
Oh,
games.
so selfish.
Sterling in.
You know, that's so selfish.
They obviously dropped points against
least
Lyon in
have a
both
hot-
games. I think they went behind against Hoffenheim, so they actually haven't played that well in Europe so far this season.
Who, Schalke?
City.
Oh, City.
Um,
Yeah, I mean, Lyon taught them a lesson, didn't they, as well,
Yeah.
over two ties, but I feel like they'll be stronger for that. Yeah, City.
Fair enough, yeah. I'd
Who have
probably...
Liverpool got? Real Madrid?
Bayern.
Bayern.
That'd
Ooh.
be so good.
Klopp versus Bayern.
There's
It's
some
like
class
that.
Wait
ties
for the
as well.
Champions
Klopp
League.
absolutely
Real
hates
Madrid
Bayern,
Ajax
doesn't
is going to be a great game to
And they've
watch
just
as well.
lost to Leverkusen as well, Bayern. So this is exactly
Yeah,
like
lost 3-1, didn't they?
return to form, but then they're a wounded animal again. And Dortmund just won't lose, will they?
Yeah, true.
Despite the fact I was insisting on your roundup that Bayern would still win the league.
Yes, we've
Go on then,
we've
Dennis.
debated that
I
for
thought he was
a
going to
few
shoot there.
Go on then. Have you boys answered that question? Because
I
Thames
think-
won't let us move on if you don't.
I think City as well. To be honest, I'm going to be very boring. Say City. Yeah, they're due a run to the semis,
Fair.
at least.
Sam?
City.
There it is, Thames.
Thanks. Next one is from Yulo.
Yes,
Said,
you
if,
know.
YOLO.
Oh, I'm mouthful of food here, I'm so sorry. If Poch leaves, who should replace him at Spurs?
Oh, that'd be
Eddie Howe.
Ooh.
Ooh.
It's not a bad shout, actually.
I think of the Premier League managers, he'd probably be the closest in with the running
Yeah.
for that.
I think he needed to deliver like a top 12 finish in order to be like considered for Everton,
Yeah.
considered for clubs slightly above Bournemouth. No disrespect to Bournemouth, but like they've survived every year, haven't they?
Yeah.
And done so with relatively little drama as well. Like, it's pretty astounding.
Yeah,
actually.
but
They're
I mean-
very
On the break
rarely in
again.
there.
On your
I'd
own
also
side.
give a shout out to Javi
Go on then, Raheem.
The job that Javi Grazzi has done at Watford as well. I think
Yeah.
really underrated work. I don't know whether he'd be quite in the reckoning for that. Yeah, Nuno Espirito Santo, Wolves might be in the reckoning. On Continental Club a couple of months ago, I actually advocated Leo Jardim for the job, but he's obviously back at Monaco now. But I can imagine him sticking two fingers up to them after they fired him so unceremoniously in November. So who knows? It'll be intriguing.
Kevin De Bruyne cramping up here, no surprise. I think this is his first full 90 in the league in quite some time. Hopefully it's nothing more than that. It looks like it's just cramped. He's trying to stretch his leg out. And who's... is that Raheem
nice.
Sterling coming off?
No.
Number 7?
De Bruyne.
That's De Bruyne coming.
Oh, it is. Oh, okay, fair play.
He's played well today, De Bruyne.
He has. Yes.
Absolutely orchestrated.
Great to see him back as
Beautiful
well.
Performance,
And he really put himself about, didn't he? That was quite a big statement in terms of like, I'm back and this is how influential I'll be for the rest of the campaign.
It's been comfortable this second half, definitely for City. I think they've really dealt with I was about to say the threat of Aubameyang and Lacazette, but they haven't really been.
They haven't done anything at all.
They haven't really got the ball in dangerous areas at all. It's been difficult.
And
They've just been
considering
bypassed in midfield.
Yeah, how good that pairing are, man. Like they've just cut off the service, haven't they? Like they've not even been on the ball. Lacazette's a player who drops deep, but Fernandinho was lining up as a centre back, and off throughout the second half, we've seen his average position has been like deep inside Arsenal's half, and they're just strangling.
And for a
the
side, playing Torreira and Guendouzi in midfield, the amount of times that City have waltzed through their midfield on the break has been like remarkable. Really.
But they've both been had a few times, haven't they?
Yeah.
Sterling's been really good. They're kind of harrying them.
Yeah, definitely. And Bernardo Silva's been busy in the middle of the park as well. It's just been a great performance from City. Comfortable in the second half.
3 Ozil though.
You got Pogba free.
Yeah, I got Pogba 3. Then you can see what he's done. He's contributed to like
Just
11
liberating
goals.
players.
The great liberator. But
I just find it mad interesting, like how managers can't integrate their best players, or they struggle to. Like, it's weird.
That's two managers that have now struggled with Ozil, to be fair.
I was read a great article that I sent round to you boys, didn't I? From I can't remember who the actual writer was, so that's not great from me. But he was talking about a new stat called packing, and it was like how many times you go past a player from a deep position in midfield. And like Mesut Ozil was a second in the league last year, which kind of suggested that rather than being a number 10, he was dropping in for the benefit of the team and like progressing it from deep. You know, a little bit like, it's not a great comparison, but the way Wayne Rooney was doing it when he was supposed to be a centre forward or a number 10, dropping into centre midfield.
Yeah.
And maybe just, I don't know, he's just not maybe got the personnel around him at Arsenal to thrive. Like, I don't...
well played
good recovery
from
Torreira.
Torreira.
It might be different with Torreira
So
now.
the new in word is packing. That'll be all over Football Daily videos in about 12 months.
Yeah, I mean,
packing per 90.
That's the same.
Can't wait for Pat to come back and use it.
No, nothing will come in the way of him and expected goals. Yeah, he'll find a way to dismiss Pack.
I think the traditional like number 10, like that position's changing now, man. I think managers want more from a number 10. Like, I think that was one position where you were allowed to like be free and be like a bit lazier. And Ozil is a key example of a player that's struggling now, like with the pace of every team around. I think he's not been exposed, but kind of exposed.
Yeah.
Like, because
you might have a point actually, and with managers doing 4-3-3 so often these days as well, it's increasingly rare. And if you play 5 at the back as well, it's quite difficult to get a number 10 in there. So
it's quite.
It's just not in it.
You just have to. It's just fitness is so key now, isn't it? And yeah.
Goal.
Mahrez
wide.
He's going to be shooting for the next 5 minutes. Like 3 minutes like a beast. But midfielders, some midfielders now can just do everything, can't they? Like Dele Alli. Dele Alli's become like the blueprint for what a top manager wants. It's just unreal in every regard.
His defensive work is so unheralded. It's great.
Yeah, and I think you're right in that maybe in the Premier League at the very least, like.
Have you seen that?
Second half attempts 13-0.
That's
Arsenal haven't had a shot in 45 minutes.
I've not seen an Arsenal player in the City box once.
No.
I remember Lacazette and Aubameyang exchanging it on the edge of the box about half an hour ago. That's about it.
Do you think?
How many players in this Man City side would you say could play number 10? There's like 4 or 5,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah.
But then that don't play just like a number 10.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just a prime example. Like Bernardo Silva there being the last man to be pressuring Bernd Leno down. He's on the ball now. Like he's.
Yeah, maybe Ozil needs to adapt, man.
What is Torreira doing there? Not even putting in a challenge. It's just been so easy for City this second half. Complete drop off after what was a pretty good first half from Arsenal.
Oh, well played, Sterling.
Sterling has to be okay. No, he's not going to be.
Right, 2 minutes left.
Scored a hat-trick, but you know.
Let's get some quick fire questions then, guys. Get your questions in below. Temps is going to get them asked in the last 10-15. We're going to stick around after the game to do a little post-match analysis for 10 or so minutes. And if you've tuned in last minute and you've not got your Now TV Sky Sports month pass, but you want to watch the big game tomorrow, then click the link in the description below. Gets you access to 5 Sky Sports channels. All lovely, jubbly stuff. Adam Templeman.
Yeah, so next one's from Bailey, who says, do you think Arsenal's top 4 hopes are pretty much over after this game?
Look at the sadness in his eyes.
It's a bit harsh to rule them out after getting beaten by City. A lot better sides than Arsenal have been beaten pretty comprehensively by City this season.
I think it might be the way that they've lost, though.
Yeah, it has been a bit flat, hasn't it? I mean, I think they'll still be in the reckoning. I don't have the points tally up right now, and I can't work it out from the top of my head what they'll be on.
We're back in the top 4. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, they'll be. I think they'll be in there or thereabouts. I think they're the 6th best team at the moment. That's probably where they'll finish. But yeah, I just don't see Chelsea's recent, except for yesterday, their slump before that continuing for too much longer. I think Spurs have got a better side than Arsenal, so I can't see them getting top 4 really. What do you guys think?
I think the teams, Chelsea, Arsenal and United are too inconsistent to call it. Like, I think United are probably having the most consistent run of form, but I still think when they have that period where they're facing like PSG, Chelsea, Arsenal, I think that's when they're going to come up against it. And the form that they've had in their last few games, like you can tell that they're not running out of ideas, but like McCub said earlier, it's a bit...
Hasn't been as comprehensive.
Yeah. So it's going to be, I think it's going to go all the way down to the last day.
Fair.
I think, hopefully, God willing, Chelsea
Game over.
There it is, 3-1. Who said 3-1 at the start of the game?
You two, I think.
Yeah, buddy.
I said 4-1, I think. Yeah, it was you two.
3-1, there we have it. Who else had 3-1?
Mystic.
Let us know in the comments below. And no lying, because Adam Templeman will sniff you out. Guys, let's stick around. Let's pick apart the game. We want you to send in some questions for us to do so. But fairly comprehensive, 0 shots on target for Arsenal in the second half. And that moves City up to 2nd place, doesn't it, on 59 points, 2 points ahead of Spurs. So in touching distance again of Liverpool. Liverpool got a West Ham have been in the ascendancy, well-ish, I suppose, over the last few weeks. So that's going to be a tough away tie on Monday. If you're interested in watching that, then check out the link in the description below. Adam, are the comments pouring in about the game? Lacazette offering his condolence to the fans there, and
said sorry.
That's the most I've seen in the last half an hour.
Yeah, he said sorry. It was a joke.
What are the fans saying?
It's not his fault, man.
Pretty much all of them just saying that they got the prediction right. Who cares? Yeah, everyone's just saying called it. Some people are just saying Emery is drunk, stuff like this.
Okay.
Random stuff.
But
next question though
selection's weird, man.
is from Bobby, who says, "Who do you think is going to finish in the top 4 this season now? What are your predictions for the top 4?"
I'll just quickly.
The way it is now.
I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go City, Liverpool, Spurs, Chelsea.
City still top?
I'm with Doogie.
For me.
I think, that was the top 4 I said at the start of the calendar of the year on Sunday Vibes. But I wouldn't begrudge Liverpool the victory. Like we were talking about this earlier, weren't we? Most of the neutrals don't want to see them win now, but I'm still all for Liverpool winning the league. No one's won it back to back since United, right?
Yeah, 2009.
2009. What side that was?
Yeah.
Or
pretty
2008.
Crazy. Sorry, 2000. But yeah, three in a row. Remember that.
3 in a row, but. I'm going to stick with my predictions. I don't know why I really exaggerated the word "but" then, like I was going to move on. But what are you two saying?
Yeah, I reckon it's hard to see past now. I do think United could sneak in that 4th spot though. Like, if Chelsea remain inconsistent as they have been recently, I could see it happening. I could see a few big performances from United. I'm looking
Chelsea.
Yeah, I'm looking like we've got Liverpool in a few weeks' time. I reckon that's going to be a tasty
You guys need to win that. You need to win that.
Yeah, and Liverpool do too. I think that could be that. I reckon United Liverpool could be a very big game in the title race actually, because I think there's at Old Trafford, Liverpool don't have a great record.
It's mental how
Ollie
close it is,
will be mentioning that.
It's really good.
3 points off Chelsea.
It's really good, man. Like, compared to last year.
This could be like the best. Like this is shaping up to be one of the best like finales to a Premier League season.
Yeah, definitely. Needed it after last year.
I think that'd be, how I can imagine United fans being extremely happy about being the team to deny Liverpool the league and give it to City. But is that? Do you think that's quite sad?
Yeah, I mean,
United fans now like.
Yeah, but I mean what
the
aspects
reality
of being
it.
a football fan aren't sad, to be honest? Like,
well, it's a pretty damning point, but it's pretty.
It has,
pretty correct.
Seeing just then that City are going to Goodison Park on Wednesday. I seem to remember they've got a really difficult. Guardiola really struggles against Everton. He's got such weird bogey teams. It's like Everton and Palace. He always really struggles against. So if they get through that away at Goodison Park, although Everton haven't been in great form recently, they got battered by Wolves yesterday.
Didn't City batter Everton at the start of this season as well?
I think they did. I think
he put that hoodoo to rest, didn't he, with the first game?
Yeah.
Because it was a Stat Wars question, wasn't it? Like, who hasn't he beaten in the English Premier League? And it was Everton until this.
Because I remember the first time he went to Goodison Park, they lost 4-0.
Oh God, yeah, that was great.
In Guardiola's first year.
Was that Koeman?
I think it was under Koeman, and everyone was like, Koeman, next big thing, and then,
The Dutch national team are playing well, though.
Yeah, they are, to be fair.
To be come back there. But should we move on?
Yes.
Because, McCubbin's just made, mockery of the whole footballing fan culture we've tried to build for, the last 3 years.
The next question is from Ian, who says, which team do you personally fear playing the most as a fan?
Ooh.
Bournemouth.
Of your own side.
Of your own team. Mine.
I swear down, it's Bournemouth. After the last 2 away games we played there, not even away, last year was at home and we lost 3-0.
Sam quaking in his boots at the thought of a trip to the Vitality.
No, because I knew we were going to lose, but 4-0. Yeah. Our last 2, 3-0 and 4-0.
You knew you were going to lose?
Nah, Bournemouth are they're not even our bogey team. Like, I think on the day they're just always better than us.
Eddie Howe's just got you on toast.
Yeah, it's nuts.
God, Celtic struggle against Inverness.
Do you actually?
No, not really, not anymore. It's just one time, like when John Barnes was in charge in 2001. Or no, not 2001. When Martin Neal was in charge earlier than that. Booby teams. Mark McCubbin, you've not answered.
United, I don't know. In terms of fearing, like recently, it has the City games. I'm always very nervous for because it is kind of like there's just that feeling that you could be about to get spanked, and like there's just nothing worse.
Who'd you rather lose to City or Liverpool?
It depends really. Like
He looks so disgusted about that thought.
losing to Liverpool when if they're on a title charge will be bad. I've just never experienced that before. And actually, to be fair, under Moyes, there was that game where I think Gerrard scored 2 penalties at Old Trafford. They beat us 3-0, and that was when they were kind of on the way to the title. That was pretty hard to take. But yeah, I'd say City just because they just have it in them. So like today, like they could have put 6 past Arsenal.
Yeah.
Like their shooting was just a little bit better.
And Leno made a few good saves as well.
Yeah, it's easy to admit defeat to Pep Guardiola, isn't it? Just to say like, oh, it's a Pep team. Like they can do this to anyone and everyone.
Yeah.
Do you want to know Sunderland's bogey teams?
Of course.
We've actually got quite a few, but the actual one we were a bogey for Newcastle, big time. We always take them down. Always. We won 7 in a row. And can't wait to meet them in the Championship next year for a guaranteed 6 points.
Already beat them in the checker trade, haven't you?
Yeah, we took down their under-21s. Yeah. And then Man City's. So yeah, on to Wembley we go, maybe.
That is a joke.
Thames?
There's my bogey team. Liverpool away, always.
Yeah?
Yeah, you guys are crap at Anfield.
We are terrible at Anfield. But the next question is from Casey, who says, who is the best footballer you've ever met?
I'd probably have to go to Joe Cole. I've only met 2.
Dave Bautista.
Yeah, you got quite a good choice actually. Danny Alves must be up there.
Yeah, Danny Alves was one of the real icons that we've met that we've had on this channel.
Yeah.
Thierry Henry as well. We had Thierry Henry in the quiz.
Oh, Henry.
Yeah, Henry's got to be up there, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Just some of the stuff he used to do in the Premier League, absolutely.
I was looking at his record. I didn't. He was like Arsenal's top scorer for like 6 or 7 seasons in a row. And in all of those seasons, he only didn't hit 25 goals once when he got like 22 or something.
No, he was on
that's
form.
And then when he got, was it the season he got like 22 goals? He also got 16 assists.
I don't know. I think it was a bit earlier, but that one he got like 25, 26 goals and also got
because he was crazy good creator as well, wasn't it? Just always
all around.
Double digits for assists most seasons. Yeah.
No wonder he's a bit cocky.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're that good, it's pretty hard to hide the arrogance, isn't it? But. Yeah, so probably Henry. Any other shouts?
Alessandro Del Piero.
Yes.
Love that. That was great.
He was a gentleman as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, lovely guy. Yeah, really nice, very funny.
Did you swap numbers?
We didn't, unfortunately, no. Yeah. But I did get to witness him eat a muffin, so that was nice.
Good technique on that too.
Very good technique, and actually
not too many crumbs around.
Actually, Temp's got the camera rolling, I think, and he asked him if he was ready while he had the muffin in his mouth. And so, as a joke, he just said, "Yeah, I'm ready," with his mouth completely open, so he could see. It was, yeah, right.
Got a good banter
I don't know if that's like I don't know if you'd be happy with me, digging him out like that, but
in the same trip where you saved the Champions League as well, the
exactly. Oh yeah, exactly.
It was missing. Football Daily is one and only skit that deserves its place in YouTube folklore.
Yeah, got overlooked for the BAFTAs that year.
It did unfortunately. It was weird, but it got a standing ovation. It got a standing ovation at Cannes though. So.
Excellent.
Next one's from Viv, who says, "What are your predictions for West Ham versus Liverpool tomorrow?"
Ooh. The pressure's on Liverpool now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Pellegrini as well.
Pellegrini has to get a result.
The 2 former Liverpool managers have helped out Liverpool, Hodgson and who's the other one? Benitez.
Yeah.
So by that logic, West Ham are going to win tomorrow night.
Is Liverpool away in it?
Yeah, Olympic Stadium.
Liverpool going to win, man. Unfortunately. They're just going to win like 2-1 or something like that.
Atkins behind the camera was reliably informing me that they have a pretty poor record against Liverpool at home. So yeah, I can only really see it going one way. Well, I can't remember what was it, West Ham. I know they got beaten by Wimbledon, but I can't remember did you win last weekend?
We lost 3-0 to Wolves in the week. We lost 4-2 to Wimbledon before that. We lost 2-0 to Bournemouth before that.
So losses to Wolves and Bournemouth, not coming to this form. This game on the back of great form.
Bare losses. That's what you got to say.
Yeah. So and Liverpool, they don't just beat West Ham. Haven't the last 4 games been 4-0s? Or they've scored at least 4 goals. So they absolutely hump them. Man.
But you see stats like that, it could like.
But the 2 before that, we scored 3.
Ooh.
Atkins says the 2 before that they scored 3, so maybe there's hope.
So
it could be a cheeky
4-0 to West Ham. 4-0 to Liverpool. That's what I genuinely am going for. I think they're going to smack them.
Yeah.
About big time.
T-Dog?
Nice one. Herb has the next one. He says
Herb.
Herb Who's going to be your
Lemon
golden? Who's going to be your golden boot winner this season?
Oh, it's tight, isn't it? Though?
Salah.
Aguero, because Kane's injuries, maybe.
Where is
Aguero top now?
Surely.
Salah.
Salah's
Salah's
Salah's on
again.
16 at the moment, which is
Salah.
he's like quietly crept up to 16 as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
What's
Fair
his
pence.
like?
And he just scored. He does. It's rare that there's a game where he doesn't score in. Like
Yeah.
he doesn't necessarily grab like braces or hat tricks much, but
He's just scoring every game.
He always
yeah.
just gets one in the game. Like,
He's
Yeah.
got 8 assists as well.
that's
That's
very
just
impressive.
It helps that he takes pens with his diving as well. So.
Yeah.
7 assists.
7
Yeah.
assists. You've got a bet on this attempt, haven't you? Golden
Maybe
boot.
one website.
I haven't got a bet. I've got a bet that Aubameyang will score more goals than Harry Kane this season.
Oh.
That's
Harry
what
Kane's
he-
currently
that could
injured,
happen.
so could happen.
I reckon.
Could well happen.
There you go, silver lining in
Come
Arsenal
on.
fans.
I mean, I am going to lose money on 2 bets that Arsenal will finish above Man United.
Should we have
yeah.
2 more questions then? Tim? Pick wisely. Let's go over to.
I haven't
wrap
actually
this
got a
up.
question ready here. You caught me off guard.
All right.
Oh, no.
So we'll go
Come
back
me.
to.
Come back to
We'll
me.
go back to Golden Boot then. So if we all answered, so you're going.
Who was
Salah.
I going? I'll just try and be a bit different. I'll go Kane to absolute bang when he comes back.
No chance. Hazard. Let me switch it up. Hazard. Yeah.
What? To be
reckon?
top scorer this season?
Yeah.
What?
What's he on? 12?
Yeah.
That's pretty good, actually.
Exactly.
I didn't realise that.
When he scored just, I was like, oh, he's on 12.
McCubbin's
That's
tone
decent.
completely
Yeah,
changing.
fair. I didn't realise he had
Decent.
that many. That's pretty good. And he's had like 10, 11 assists as well.
Yeah, he's got the most assists.
Yeah,
and he takes
penalties, doesn't he? So
Yeah. It could
he
happen.
might notch up a few
Big
more.
Wayne?
He scored a penalty against Huddersfield, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to go Sergio Aguero. I mean, a hat-trick today. What did he have before?
I think he had maybe 10 or 11, I think, before.
Yeah, it's just
So he's now on 14.
the way that he's not rotating with Gabby Jesus anymore, is he? He's the man. Have you got another question, Temps?
I do. This one's from Hurston, who says, what club would be the best place of Mesut Ozil to leave Arsenal for?
We were talking about this on Continental Club, and I'm a bit worried about Ozil. I mean, it doesn't make me lose any.
Personally or
Doesn't make me lose any
professionally
sleep. But when I think about it, I'm just worried for him. I don't know where he goes. It's really difficult to
Come
clearly
Chelsea. He should
earmark
come
a
Chelsea,
club for
man.
him.
Yeah, he's all right chilling on 300k, isn't he?
I mean, yeah, I'm not. His life is fine, but it's quite difficult. It's quite difficult to earmark a natural fit
Yeah,
for
it
him.
is difficult because like, you'd maybe fancy him at Barca, but they've kind of got
Yeah.
their midfield sorted
too
now.
Maybe a
Back
nice
to
money
Real.
move to a bit
Back
of
to
Milan,
Real.
one of the Milan clubs. I don't
That's
know.
what I said when we talked about the Sunday vibes, but it's
haven't
who's
seen
going to
it.
absorb those wages, isn't it?
Yeah. And I doubt he'll go Germany.
Bayern, maybe.
Bayern.
Nah,
If they
doubt
get rid
it.
of Rodriguez, who
But,
knows?
no, but yeah. But because of his like personal issues and stuff, I don't think he'll go
But
to
it's sad.
Germany.
I just want him to be remembered for the talent that he has, and I don't think at the moment he'll be remembered as one of the greats of his generation, which he had the
That's a
potential to
shame.
be.
I think it's
He
probably
was for 3 years, wasn't he?
it's
Yeah.
probably beyond him, that perception in the Premier League. I think football purists will always admire like the qualities, the outstanding qualities that he has, but it's always easy to be critical of a player who plays like Mesut Ozil, and they do. We flog him like a dead horse in the UK.
Yeah.
It gets boring, isn't it? I think that should probably be our last question because Temps is,
Yeah?
yeah.
I've
he's-
got another one.
Are you going to have one?
Yeah.
Go on, line up one more, rack up one more. I thought you called it a day.
No, I didn't. This one is from Mills, who says, who is the most underrated manager in the Premier League?
Ooh,
Right,
what
yeah.
note
Nice
to end
one.
on. Nice uplifting one. Go on and do.
I'd probably say this year the one I'd be most impressed with is Nuno Espirito Santo, probably at Wolves. I think he's done an absolutely awesome job. Really enjoy watching them play. We were talking about it earlier in the stream, but I think he sets up really well tactically. I think they've recruited very well. I think the future is bright for Nuno.
I think people do talk about him a lot because he is a young English manager, and so sometimes there are elements maybe he's a little bit overrated. But I do think that the job that Eddie Howe's done over the last few years at Bournemouth has been
Been
pretty
amazing,
exceptional. Actually, like I wasn't like. I don't know. I didn't buy into it that much, but then in the last year or so, I've kind of like thought about it. It's like, yeah, he's
doing well.
He's done a really good job. Yeah,
Yeah, not spending like swaves either, is it? Is Jefferson Lerma their top transfer 26?
I think so, yeah.
And
I
he's
believe
settled
so,
into the
yeah.
side really
Yeah.
well, actually, hasn't he, this season? So kind of, big signings drop.
Seems to
That
be-
always helps a manager's credibility.
Sorry, he
doesn't
seems to be a great coach as well. The leaps and bounds that Callum Wilson's come on. I mean, Lewis Cook, before he got injured, looked to be becoming like a really top English central midfielder as well. So he seems like he's a bit like
Poor old-
Pochettino,
yeah.
a great coach as
Yeah.
well.
he? Poor old Lewis Cook. What about you, mate?
Nuno as well. I think the football Wolves player just like different level for a team outside of the top 6. If I think they're that type of team that if they get like 3 or 4 good signings next year, they will be causing a lot of trouble for the top 6 teams.
I mean, they already have. They just
Yeah.
need to get more consistent of just battering the sides around them.
Yeah.
But I like Wolves a lot.
Yeah, okay, on that note, let's wrap the show there. Thank you very much for tuning in, guys. If you've not subscribed to the channel, please hit that subscribe button for more great footballing content and more live footballing content like the guys said earlier. And if you want to tune in to, a host of top Premier League football over the next month, then click the link in the description below for that Now TV Sky Sports month pass. Access to 5 channels, just $5.99. Bit of a steal, really. And that's it from us. So thank you very much from the sofa, from Temps over there, who looks like like a sad puppy. And until next time, bye bye.
Bye, guys.
Yeah.